All right, and we are live. So, welcome everyone to the horror subgenre discussion slash this tier list thing with Anthony. Full disclosure: this tier list was made by the YouTuber Cody Leach. He made a video, and in his description, he's like, "Hey, here's a tier list if you want to make one." And so then I was
Very
like, "Hey,
cool, man.
Anthony, let's make one."
Yeah, why not?
So, how are you, sir?
I've been doing great, man. Yeah, really good. Pretty close to hitting 500 subs, which is awesome. I'm like 6 away,
Yeah.
so that's exciting. But
Well,
yeah,
maybe
no,
this
just
will put you over that.
that'd be awesome, man. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been, I just love talking about horror. And so when you asked me to do this, I was like, yeah, no brainer for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh, we got Holland OT
Hey,
from.
what's going on,
What's up,
Alan?
Holland? One of the regulars at the streams around here. So,
Yeah, Alan's the man.
yeah. So, essentially, for anyone that doesn't know what tier lists are, you have all the tiers on the side there. So, the Take My Money, which is like the top tier. You have My Attention, which is like good or really good. Worth a Shot, which is just kind of middle. Not for me, just middle bad. And then I'd Rather Chew Glass, terrible. And I think there's 30 different subgenres there. And just looking through them, there's obviously like some that like bleed together, whatnot. There's you could break it down even farther if you wanted to, but these are just the ones that were on this tier list. So
Yeah,
I think we've also both prepared our favorite movie that falls into each subgenre that we can talk about. Did you do that right?
yeah,
That is,
yeah.
yeah. So I got my list too.
I don't
So
have a
when we
list. I just have it like in my head, but I've got I've
yeah.
definitely got some for each of these.
Cool. And so as we go through each one, looks like they're in alphabetical order. Um, so we'll just talk about it. We'll decide where we think it should go and just share some good ones, maybe some ones to stay away from in that subgenre too, or whatever. And if you're watching this stream live or not live, go ahead and give us your comments on it. Tell us anything. We'll probably respond. Even if
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
related or not, we'll just
yeah.
answer any.
Maybe, or you could also bring up some other subgenres in the chat too. Maybe that
That aren't included here.
that
That's
aren't
on.
included in the list. Yeah, that'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be cool. Coolio. Well, great. So let's get started with Alien.
Phone home.
So, so take it away, Anthony. You start today.
Yeah, so Alien, I mean, I already love the one that's on there, Signs. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
great choice. That's a great movie. But my all-time favorites would be Alien, which is also in the
Mm-hmm.
name. so,
Yeah.
so that's a pretty easy one for me. But it's interesting because when you think of like the grand scope of things, like every Alien movie that comes out, I'm trying to think of would have been some more recent Alien films to come out that I could that you
Nope. Nope. I don't know if you
okay.
saw
Nope,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that
That's it.
one's
Yeah,
Alien.
that's an Alien.
Um, there hasn't been a whole lot recently. Nope's like the most recent one. I don't want to. That the new film from M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. Looks like
Oh,
it might have some alien stuff in there. Um, a lot of times too, like alien bleeds over with creature features, so you get like like things that come from outer space. Like if you think about like John Carpenter's The Thing, it's kind of alien.
yeah, that's an
Um,
yeah.
Quiet Place movie's a little bit alien in a way. Um,
Predator's an
yeah,
Alien
Predator.
as well. So there are a lot of Alien movies. It's just I feel like there haven't been a ton of new ones recently. But good call on A Quiet Place because those are Alien movies. So
Mm-hmm.
that's true. I guess I don't know when it came to Nope and the A Quiet Place movies. I'm just kind of like on them. I'm not like a huge fan of any of those movies. I think because A Quiet Place to me is just way too much CGI, and I hate the way the creatures look. I think they look really stupid. And then Nope, I just thought was way too long and had one really annoying character with his sister. His sister drove me crazy that entire movie. But
Oh yeah.
um but
Yeah, I agree.
overall
I thought Nope was just okay. And I'm gonna be contrarian. I love both Quiet Place movies.
I didn't hate him. It's not like I
But I
hate him.
can I can understand
Yeah,
your criticisms to him though. I get it.
it's just too much CGI, man. It takes me out of it. It's too much
Yeah.
green screen CGI, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, good lord.
Part of
But,
part of it for me is like I wasn't expecting A Quiet Place. I went to a drive-in with my dad to go see Infinity War,
mm,
and the second showing after it was A Quiet Place, and we're like, "Oh, we already paid to be here. Let's just stay for it." Like we had no interest in seeing it or anything. This is like right as it was coming out, so there was no buzz about it or anything. And we were like, "Holy shit!" We both loved it, and so like it was just a surprise, one of those type deals. So that
I
it might taint my experience a little bit with it. I haven't seen the original Quiet Place since before part two came out, and then I've only seen part two in theaters. I'm gonna rewatch them though for the new one this year, but it's been a while. But I I really enjoyed them both.
I thought that A Quiet Place Part Two. I actually liked that one better than the first one because I felt
Yeah,
like it.
they're pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, I felt like it kind of got into it a little bit faster. I think the second one's probably a lot more rewatchable than the first because the first one just yeah, there's just too much kind of standing around and just they're trying to kind of get you into the world and everything. But I like that the second one, it's like okay, we already know what's going on. Now it's they're kind of more on
Yeah,
the
and
road.
it
Having
expands
adventure.
the whole thing instead of just this one isolated family. It
Yeah,
expands and shows like what all these different groups of people and stuff do.
exactly. Yeah, so
Oh, and then also the Bird Box on Netflix from a few years ago. That was like the Quiet Place Without Seeing. That one was kind of
yeah,
alien too, I'd
yeah, that's
say.
right. With Sandra Bullock, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I think also John Malkovich maybe too.
Oh
There were quite,
yeah,
there
I
were a
think
few people in that. I remember that was like the Netflix movie that year that everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is the movie this year." Every year there's like one or two Netflix movies that everyone's like freaking out about, and 9 times out of 10 they're all trash.
it's true, man. It's so true. But yeah,
Uh,
so I'd probably put Alien in the second tier. It's
they
like because it has to be because it's been too long since I could say that I've been like super excited for one. But overall, if you count the Predator movies, Alien movies, all of those, then the Thing. I would have to at least put it in the second tier list just because of those. Oh, and Signs, of course. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you because the Alien movies I love, like Alien, The Thing, the Quiet Place movies, the original Predator, and then Prey from a few years ago was also awesome. Um, there are and Signs, like we said, all the ones that we've mentioned. There are a lot of them that I really enjoy, but it's like it's just been so dry recently where we haven't had anything, and so it's like one of those things that hopefully they can come back with. Alien Romulus coming out this year. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully that kind of like rejuvenates the alien subgenre a little bit. But
yeah, that'd be awesome. And you're
I'm,
right, and I am excited for that. I really am for the Alien Romulus because the
I'm
majority of the Alien films in the franchise I do enjoy. So
yeah, I I like the two prequels, Prometheus and Covenant. I like them, and then I really enjoy Aliens. I love Alien. I don't care for 3 or Resurrection all that much. So it for me it's spotty a little bit.
mm,
But I am excited to see what Fede Alvarez can do. He is an amazing horror director. I've
he's
pretty much
bad.
liked everything he's done, and so like him with Alien, like please
Yeah,
deliver. And the trailer looks like it's going back to like the feel of Alien and Aliens. So
yep, I'm excited.
mhm. We got some more people in the chat. Spicy 4K.
Hey, what's up, Reed? How's it going, man?
Then Ali. Hi everyone. Hi.
Hey, what's going on, Allie? How you doing, baby?
And so Alien. Yeah. Next up we have Animal Horror.
Yeah, animal
Um
attack movies.
yeah.
So you got
So
Jaws, you got Crawl, you've got
um,
Alligator, you've got Arachnophobia. I would even count, because
yeah,
they're animals
there
technically.
was a there was the one that came out this year called Sting, which is about like a spider that like it was like Little Shop of Horrors, but with a spider essentially, where it keeps getting bigger the more you feed it.
Yeah,
Um, There was also that movie called Infested, which I tried watching like 5 minutes in. I'm like, I can't.
Dude,
I I am scared shitless of spiders, and I like tried putting it on as a joke to freak out my mom and her boyfriend because they don't like spiders. I like tried to put it on as a joke to see how long it would take before they turned it off, and I was the one that tapped out first.
yeah. Because I think when a lot of people think of animal attack movies, they think of like bigger animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like no, spiders and all of the little insects count as well. They're animals, so
Hmm.
I think it's important to remember those ones because you have movies like Ants. Remember that one
Yeah.
from back in the day?
Or you
That's
have the piranha
you have
movies probably fall into
Piranha.
that.
Yeah, you have
Mhm.
mosquito
Or
movies. You have
or a what isn't there one called like frogs or something like that?
frogs. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, yeah, basically one for all these little animals.
Yeah. Or
um,
Cujo, the Stephen
Cujo,
King.
absolutely,
That's
yeah,
funny, yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, no, I saw that movie that you were. What's the one with the spider infested? And dude,
With like all of them, or Sting, or is just the one big one?
yeah, no, infested is the one I saw, and I thought it was
It was
just
like the French one, right?
yeah, it was the
Yeah,
French one.
yeah,
It was
that's the
just
one I
okay.
can't had to tap out of.
Yeah. But see, once again, it's because there's so many like CGI spiders. It's like I know it's fake, so it's not like arachnophobia. I'll tell you right now, if you're afraid of spiders, I'm not really afraid of spiders, but a lot of people are. If you're afraid of spiders, arachnophobia is going to freak you out because they're all real, except for the queen and the general. They use like puppets for those. But all the other ones are legit spiders, and your eye can always tell when something's fake. So when I'm watching Infested, I just see a bunch of CGI spiders running all over the place. It's just not that scary. The film was okay, but it didn't really get to me at all.
Oh,
But generally, animal attack movies, I'm a big fan of.
yeah.
Jaws being number one.
I'd
Uh,
also like to add in there Pet Cemetery to a certain degree with
sure,
like the evil,
Church.
like with
Yeah,
evil,
yeah,
yeah, Church Eat Cat. You get
yeah.
the little bit with that one scene with like Judd's dog, or especially like Pet Cemetery 2. You get some more animals in there.
Yeah, so for me, this would be well, God, I don't know. It's weird though because nowadays, see, back then I would say take my money because they used to use animatronics and stuff like that, and like more ways to make them look real. But nowadays they use so much CGI. But to be fair, I do love Deep Blue Sea, and that's got a mix
Mm.
of practical and CGI. But I love that movie, even with the bad CGI. So I think I'm gonna go take my money, man. I love a good animal attack movie. I really do. Oh, The Edge is another great one with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin when the bear attacks them. That's another great one.
Mm. For
But yeah, I gotta.
me,
Yeah.
For me, I'd probably go Worth a Shot because there's not very many of them I would say that I really like. They're more of it, it's more and like the ones I really like I love like Jaws, Pet Cemetery, Crawl's really good.
Crawl was
I haven't
great.
seen Deep Blue Sea in a long time, but I remember enjoying it. But like all these other ones, it's just not really something I'm totally into all that much. But the ones I like, and they're interesting enough to where I'll check them out. But it's not like um, I'm just like, oh, what animal can we use for an attack now? I'm not like
The Shallows.
craving
Have you seen The Shallows
it. Maybe
with
that's
Blake Lively?
probably a shark one, right?
Yeah, that was really.
I think I've heard of it. Yeah, my thing is I always get like the crappy streaming shark movie, and
Yeah.
so like shark movies I've kind of just started to avoid because like my last few experiences with new ones, I'm like, okay, this isn't very good. I'm just gonna watch Jaws and call it a day.
Yeah, and that's yeah, you're right, and maybe for that reason alone, because of right, there's so many crappy ones. Because my mind automatically goes to all
Oh,
the way.
like Sharknado.
Sharknado's yeah, that's
That's a
another.
classic.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe you're right.
We we
Maybe
can we can meet it in the middle and go. You have my attention. Like even us out. Between two of us.
yeah, you have my attention's fair because if I see a trailer for it and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks awesome, because it looks like maybe they're using like a little bit of a mix of practical and CGI, and the acting's good and stuff, and it's okay. This is something you have my attention with. So, but you're right, there are a lot of crappy animal tech movies that come out all the time. So, yeah, when they're
All
good,
right. Yeah, when they're good, they're good. When they're not, it's just something they crap out on the streaming services, right?
yeah.
Next up, we have anthology. You want to start us off? We'll go back and forth, I guess.
So, man, I love a good horror anthology movie. I really do. Tales from the Hood being probably my favorite, but I think Creepshow 2 is excellent. I think Tales from the Dark Side is amazing. The original Creepshow, obviously. And there's just so many of them. I'm a big fan of horror anthologies. I love the VHS movies. There's just so many good ones. So, but it's weird because I feel like most horror Trick or Treat's another great one. But I feel like most horror anthologies are straight to DVD now. They don't really come out in theaters anymore.
Yeah, like the VHS franchise is like relegated to Shudder now. Like,
yeah, it's kind of sad. So I guess for this one, it's probably like worth a shot, because if I see them on streaming and it looks like, oh, okay, like VHS 94 or whatever, there's like a million VHS movies. I'm like, all right, it's worth a shot. Sure, I'll check it out. What about you?
Yeah, I'm probably right there with you. I'll go ahead and put it in worth a shot for us, but it's like at the lower end of worth a shot for me. The only anthology movie I would say that I love is Trick or Treat. I think Creepshow's pretty good, and then I've only seen a handful of the VHS films, and especially with the VHS films, what it seems like to me is like, what were the last two? 94 and 99, I think.
There was a 94, 99, yeah, and then there was 84 as well, was in there. That's another newer one.
I have one of them. But yeah, I have 94.
Yeah, they can be hit or miss, for sure.
The thing I liked about him was like the 90s aesthetic that it gave, and there were a few, like, because they're like 5 or 6 segments each. What I always found myself is like liking, like really enjoying like 1 or 2 of the segments, and then thinking 1 or 2 of them were okay, and then thinking 1 or 2 of them were pretty bad, So it's like a third of the movie I liked, a third of it was okay, a third of it I didn't care for. But like the ones that, but there were like the ones I really liked, like really stuck with me. Like I can't remember if it was 94 or 99, but whichever one had the rat man in the sewer.
Oh,
Rat Man, yeah. That thing scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, so because it was like raining outside, like thunderstorming that night, and I like threw it on Shudder. Like, what's this VHS thing? I've never seen any of them before. And like, you're just in this sewer, and then this thing comes out, and it's like this huge mouth, like a demented Mickey Mouse. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is scary as hell. There was the one where they were like in the funeral home, and like stuff was going weird, and then it was like, is this guy the zombie or not? There was the one that was like the messed up game show where they kind of kidnapped the guy and made him go through like the saw trap game show type thing. So there's always like segments I enjoy out of all the ones I've seen, but the only one that like fully comes together for me is Trick or Treat, probably because it has like the overarching story instead of just all these disjointed things, I guess. Oh,
have you seen Tales from the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the All Hallows Eve films.
Art the Clown, yeah.
Yeah, the origins of art.
Have you seen Tales from the Hood?
No, I have not.
Oh man, you gotta watch. That's my favorite one. I mean,
I've heard the first Tales from the Hood. Aren't there like 3 of them?
Just watch the first. Just watch the first.
Yeah, I've heard the first one's pretty good.
It's great, man, because it has like messaging mixed in with it, but it's done in a very clever way, and like the gore is great and the practical effects and everything, and there's like some good dark humor in there as well, so it's just the perfect blend. And I love all four of the segments in Tales from the Hood and the wraparound story as well. So yeah, definitely check that one out.
Yeah. Which one would you say is your favorite anthology?
That's it, Tales from the Hood for sure.
Oh, it's Tales from the Hood. Okay.
Yeah, Tales from the Hood. Yeah,
When's that from? Is it from
that's from the '90s,
the
somewhere in the
90s? I
yeah,
was gonna say I thought it was probably late 80s, early 90s if I had to just guess off the top of
yeah.
my head. All right, next up we got backwoods horror. So I think this is more of like stuff like Wrong Turn, Hills Have Eyes,
Yeah.
a little bit of Texas Chainsaw in there. Um, for me, this is probably going to be a not for me one, just because I've only seen one of the Hills Has Eyes movies, and I thought it was okay. I think it was the remake. The only Wrong Turn movies I enjoy whatsoever is the original and then the remake. The rest of that franchise can not exist as far as I'm concerned. And then I really like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like if you want to talk about bad Texas Chainsaw movies, they're rough. And even some of the ones I like, I know aren't very good, but they're like guilty pleasures, like Texas Chainsaw 3D. I know is a terrible movie, but I enjoy it.
I enjoy that one too. I thought that
Yeah,
one was pretty fun. Yeah, it is.
but
Yeah,
I
it's
can't.
got that stuff.
Can you
But,
think of anything outside those like three franchises that would be a backwoods type thing?
yeah. So I'm trying to think of other ones that would be considered backwoods. Yeah, because those are the ones that come to my mind immediately. But I'm a big fan. I mean, obviously the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic. Then the remake and the beginning, I think, are both excellent. I love those movies. Those are the ones I probably watch the most. Are the remake to TCM and the beginning. Those two back to back. And I think the first Wrong Turn is one that I go back and rewatch often. And I know there are some other good ones in the
Yeah, do your thing,
yeah,
cuz it's
you think,
so terrible. It's
yeah,
so terrible, but it's so awesome at the same time. Like
yeah.
I think I've seen that movie like two or three times now, and every time I'm like, that is the dumbest shit ever, but it's so awesome at the same time.
Oh, I know another backwoods one, but I don't like these movies. Are the Hatchet films?
Oh, I haven't seen any of the Hatchet films.
I
I
don't
don't,
I don't personally like them. I know that they've got a big fan base, but I'm not a big Hatchet guy at all. But
yeah, I
those
haven't
were
heard good things about him, so I've kind of like, yeah, I'm just
um,
not it.
but the Hills Have Eyes remake, I think that's a really solid remake. So for me, I would probably say like worth a shot. Just depending on, because once again, it's another genre. I'm trying to think like, has there been a have there been any recent in that category for backwoods? Any recent movies?
Like the last one that I can think of is the Wrong Turn remake from like 3 years ago.
Oh, and I never saw that one because I heard it's actually pretty good, but it has like nothing to do with the original like Wrong Turn movies at all. It's like its own thing. So I want to
Yeah,
check it out. And
yeah,
then
it's
obviously
pretty good.
the TCM movie that went straight to streaming on Netflix. There's that one as well.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was pretty good. I think that was like a middle of the road TCM for me.
Yeah.
So do you want to? Where should we put it? Do
Well,
not for
for
me
me,
or worth a shot.
it's weird because you don't. So for you, it's not for you. For me, I would say it's like worth a shot.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It's weird, yeah.
Here, here we'll go not for me. I'll play my trump card of Wrong Turn 5 sucks.
No, there you go.
God,
Yeah,
I
man.
hate I
Yeah.
hate that movie so much. Uh
I don't remember really much of the sequels. I've seen quite a few of them, but I don't really
yeah.
remember.
Well,
I'm off the
that's
top.
probably a good thing.
Yeah. I know a lot of people say this. I think it's the second one that's pretty good. They say, but it's been too
Yeah,
long.
the second one's not like abysmal, but it's like, what are you doing? Like, I always like show people like this clip from Wrong Turn 3 when they're like, CGI in this movie I saw was terrible. And I'm like, okay. And there's like a dude standing there, and like this thing comes up and slices him into three, and like his body pieces, like someone just put his body on Photoshop, sliced it, and then just started like dragging the pieces around on the screen and like put like a red background behind his cut body with like CGI blood spurts. It looks terrible.
That's
Like,
probably what they did.
yeah, and I'm like, I saw it for the first time. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I like had to rewind it and watch it 3 times. It was so bad.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's probably exactly what
God,
they did.
oh, I was so stupid, and I binged all 7 of the Wrong Turn movies in one day. I was like, God, that
Oh,
was a
you're a
bad day.
maniac, man. I don't think I could
Yeah,
have been all those in one day. Jesus.
it was rough. One of the worst days of my life. Okay, next up we have body horror.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of Cronenberg movies obviously come to mind. Um, but
The only Cronenberg film I've seen is The Fly.
oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of his movies have body horror to some degree. Um, so I'm trying to think of other movies. I think a lot of the
I would say The Thing could kind of be classified as that in a little bit.
I would say a lot of the A Nightmare on Elm franchise, A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise could fall under that category too, because pretty much all of the kills and including the things that Freddy does, it's a lot of body horror, man. It's basically all body horror.
With like the one marionette thing, or like the
Yeah, you
puppet.
got the marionette thing. You got the chick that gets transformed into a cockroach. He
Oh,
literally like cuts
or like
himself out of that guy, and he opens him up and
yeah,
comes
like in the second one where he like comes out the dude's body.
Freddy's Revenge. I mean, like pretty much every kill in the franchise is body horror except for the first film and the remake. But after that, once you get to like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then they just go full on with the body horror. Um, so yeah.
I'm just trying to think of some other ones. I haven't seen a whole lot. This is probably the ones I'm least educated on, is the body horror stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can think of any besides the Fly that I've seen.
You could also say like werewolf transformations would be body horror. So you could say like an American Werewolf in London. You could say The
Yeah.
Howling. That's all body horror as well.
I'm
and
also not. We can talk about more when we get to werewolf stuff, but I'm also pretty uneducated on werewolf stuff too. Like I've seen the classic Universal Wolfman movies, and then I've seen American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh, okay, yeah. But a lot of
But
werewolf movies, definitely have like those, especially the classic, the ones where they actually use like practical effects for them and everything. Those just looks so amazing. Like I said, like in The Howling when he's transforming, God, man, it takes a while. Like a lot of people make fun of the fact that while he's transforming, this chick probably could have gotten away like 10 times because of the transformation process. It takes so long, but it looks so cool. But yeah, The Howling's a great example.
Holland
And
has a few. I haven't seen any of these three. I've heard of Titane.
oh
I've
yeah,
heard of that one.
Holland really likes his body horror. So yeah, Titane's got some body horror. What were the other ones that he put on there?
I haven't heard of these other two.
No, I don't think I've seen those
Sarah,
ones.
the Bone Woman. Oh, maybe that's one movie. Is Sarah the Bone Woman?
I've seen Titane. That definitely has some really weird body horror stuff going on in it.
Oh, that was like from 2 years ago. This Sarah the Bone Woman thing.
Yeah. So For this one, for the body horror stuff, I mean, if you're talking, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So if it was for that, I'd be, you have my attention. But a lot of Cronenberg stuff, I don't know. I think The Flies are really, I mean,
I've seen.
obviously,
I also saw the movie from of a few years ago called Crimes of the Future, which I didn't
yeah,
care for. It was
yeah, I've seen,
like people like growing organs and shit.
yeah, and I've seen that one, and I feel the same way. Where it's cool, it looks cool, but the story itself to me was just kind of boring. I mean, I've only seen it once, um, but what else do you have? I was just trying to see if there were any other ones that I could think of. Oh, Videodrome. Videodrome's another. That one's. Have you haven't seen that one, right? With James
No.
Woods. That's got some incredible looking practical effects, and that actually has a good story. I really like Videodrome. That's one of my favorite Cronenberg films. So, but I'm trying to think of other movie where I would see like a trailer and be like, if it's just showing like body horror for the sake of body horror, probably not really. It has to have a good story, I guess is what I'm saying. It's just
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love body horror because I like seeing the generic exorcism movies where it's the little girl contorting her body in the corner of the room. That's pretty horrific body stuff.
that's good stuff. Oh, and then Brandon Cronenberg does well with that too. Have you ever seen Possessor?
I have not seen Possessor. I've only seen Infinity Pool by him.
Yeah, Possessor's got some crazy body horror in it.
Yeah, I've heard that Possessor's a little extreme.
It's good though, man. It's really
Yeah,
good.
I've heard it's extreme but good.
Yeah, so for me, I would say it's maybe worth a shot. If it, if the trailer's hitting me, like if the story looks interesting and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll go worth a shot. Like I don't know. It's just not something I've explored, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
like body horror. It's just the story has to be there. Because a lot of times with body horror, they use practical effects and everything, and I love the way that stuff looks. I love transformation scenes and all that kind of stuff. So it's at least worth a shot for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do we got next? Cannibal.
Cannibal movies, which is funny because Wrong Turn could kind of fall under that.
Wrong Turn. You got the TCM stuff. That's Cannibal.
Well. That's what you were talking about, where some of these could kind of bleed into each other a bit. It's like the Cannibal.
Why is it always the backwoods, like inbred stuff that has cannibals in it?
Yeah, cannibal films and backwoods films kind of bleed into each other. Now, there are classic cannibal films like Cannibal Holocaust.
I haven't watched Cannibal Holocaust because I heard that it's like considered one of those video nasty things. We'll probably get into that in a few of these categories.
And then there's The Green Inferno, which was directed by Eli Roth. That's another like cannibal film.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen a whole lot of Eli Roth films.
But for this one, I would say not for me. I'm just not a big cannibal. Like, I'm not really big into the cannibal movies or any of that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I'd probably go that too, just because it's kind of the same as Backwoods. And to be honest, like of the Wrong Turn movies, of the TCM movies, the stuff that I think is, well, I don't think any of the Wrong Turn movies are scary, but the stuff that I think scary in the Texas Chainsaw movies has nothing to do with the cannibal stuff. That's just like a ew, gross type thing that exists there. So, yeah, we'll go. Not for me.
Not for me.
All right, horror comedies.
Yeah, I mean, so you got Shaun of the Dead. You've got Cabin in the Woods. You've got the Evil Dead movies.
At least just the first 3 Evil Dead movies. I don't think these new ones are very comedic.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. No, I would say Evil Dead 2 and then Army
In
of
Army
Dark.
of Darkness.
Yeah, I would
Well,
say.
and then I would even extend that to Ash versus Evil Dead if you've seen the TV show.
Oh yeah,
That
the
that
show as
that's
well for
pretty
sure.
more in line with Evil Dead 2 stuff.
Yep, yep, you're right. Um, yeah, Tucker and
Um,
Dale versus Evil, I think is hilarious.
yeah. I would
That
also I would also say some of the later Chucky films, like
yeah,
like
Seed of Chucky.
Bride and Seed.
Yep, yep.
Um, I would even say stuff like Scream is in there. So it's like a meta commenting like comedy type thing. Not like an overly comedic film, but
It
funny in
has
the
some.
way that it's making comments on it. Um, the one that I had written down for my favorite was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think that movie's so funny.
Oh,
I love that one.
that's a
I love it.
really that's a
Did you
classic.
you picked up the 4K? I picked it up. The
Yep.
Steelbook, right? Yeah, I
Oh,
picked it up the other day. I was like, gotta do it. That's one of my favorites.
yeah. But what else? Ready or Not,
Hmm.
The
Oh,
Babysitter, The
from
Babysitter.
from this year, I'd say Abigail is a
Okay, I haven't
horror
seen that movie.
comedy.
I've heard really good things.
I
Yeah, I
thought that
could.
movie I thought that movie was hilarious. I've seen it twice now, and I laughed my ass off both times.
There you
That
go.
was really good. Um,
There's a ton of them. There's a lot of. For me, it's about the
yeah.
balance. Typically I prefer more horror to the comedy. Except for in the case of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, that one's just pretty spot on as a comedy. But I
Mhm.
like the horror elements.
Just trying to think if there's. Yeah, this seems pretty well-rounded list. For me, I'd probably say you have my attention, but if you can do it well, like I don't like there needs to be like a good balance of it, obviously, not like totally
That's
missing the mark on one or being like overly comedic and not enough horror or too much horror, not much comedy. Like you got to have like the right balance for it. Um, but like all those ones you've mentioned, I like. Like
yeah,
I don't know if there's a single one of those ones that you've mentioned that I haven't enjoyed. Like even like I'm saying like three stars or higher, which is pretty good for a subgenre, I'd say. So I'd probably go You Have My Attention.
absolutely same here, man. For sure, you have my attention. Yep.
Neat. All right. Next up we have Creature Features. I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off right away. This is a take my money for me. I love Creature Features. You got things like it, the like it 2017, The Thing, the original Jeepers Creepers I think is really good. The Quiet Place movies I really enjoy. Alien and Aliens, Predator's awesome. There's just like
Now
so
listen to what you're
many.
saying though. Now it's funny because all of these, most of them that you named, also fit
Yeah,
in the alien
going to
category.
Alien too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
But
trying
there
to
are a
think.
lot of creature
Mm,
features that aren't alien related as well. Like you said, like
mhm,
Jeepers Creepers is a great one.
mhm.
The
It.
first Jeepers Creepers and the second one, but especially the first one is just such a classic creature feature type movie. I mean, it's
Mhm,
everything I want in a creature feature. It's got the mystery. It's just got weird shit, great practical effects, and then every time you think you know like what this creature's all about, he surprises you. Like when his wings first come out, you see the
mhm.
wings for the first time, then you start to see him eating people to get parts back. It's like it just keeps escalating from there. You're like, holy shit, what is this? What is this thing? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
think
right.
I was looking at like some of my highest rated horror movies on my letterboxd, and most of them looked like they were creature features. Like I'm trying to see if I missed any real quick. Um, I don't know. Those are like the ones that all came to mind for me.
Yeah,
Gremlins is really good too.
Gremlins, Night of the Creeps.
I haven't
Also,
seen that one.
That could also fall under Alien as well. But yeah, Night of the Creeps. Oh man, thrill me.
You
It's
could
like
even do something from a few years ago. It could kind of fall under this. Barbarian, to a certain degree, was a creature feature. With
sure,
that,
I would
weird
categorize
ass
that.
chick living in the basement.
Yeah,
Or you
the
got
Kindred.
Cobweb from last year, kind of
Kindred.
creature feature.
Have you
But
ever seen
yeah,
Kindred?
no, I have not.
Oh, dude, the Kindred, man, that's a creature feature. That's a really nasty, slimy, gross one right there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's so many good ones that fall under that category, man. Yeah, creature features are. I'm right there with you. I would put that under Take My Money as well.
Yeah.
Oh, another banger, Tremors.
Oh, Tremors. The first. I've only seen the first one, but Tremors is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, Tremors is fantastic. I love it.
Mhm. Tremors is really good. I mean, even have I'm trying to think if there's any other things.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a.
yeah, there's a shit ton.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw it on my shelf. But going back to the animal one, the movie Beast from a few years ago about the lion.
Yeah, with Idris Elba, I thought that was
Yeah,
actually pretty decent. I liked it.
yeah, it was all right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, hey, there's another one.
yeah,
Oh, so pretty easy. Take my money for us.
yeah, definitely.
We got quite a few comments
Oh,
here.
read them off, man.
Um, waiting for Anthony to mention Return of the Living Dead. Oh, I don't remember what we were on for that.
What would that one be? Oh, for cannibals.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever. You know what? I wouldn't have even thought about that, but that's true. They are cannibals. Yeah,
No.
zombie movies.
Mhm.
Is
Hang
there a
on.
zombie? I forgot if there's a zombie category.
Yeah, it's the last one.
Oh, okay, so there is a zombie. So I guess, but you're right, Holland. Technically, zombies would be considered cannibals. I just think of those as zombie movies, but they are cannibal movies as well. Um, yeah. So I love Return of the Living Dead. We'll definitely get to that when we go to zombies.
Cool.
Were there other comments?
Just people saying hi to each other.
Oh, okay. Hey, Corey, what's going on, buddy?
Saying hey. Everyone's saying
That's
hi to
cool.
Corey.
Yeah.
What's up, Corey? How's it going?
Yeah, and people in the chat, let me know if we're forgetting any of these, like for any of these categories. If there's any creature feature movies or cannibal movies, body horror movies, let us know what you think. Lex, you got to watch Cronenberg. I highly recommend Eastern Promises and The Dead Zone. Yeah, The Dead Zone's we'll get to the Dead Zone's another one we'll get to with one of these categories as well. But I agree, definitely check out Eastern Promises and The Dead Zone. The Dead Zone.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Dead Zone. I'm pretty sure.
Christopher Walken, man.
Ooh, that has my curiosity. I like Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Crime.
This is an easy take my money for me. I love Seven, Silence of the Lambs, The Bone Collector, all of these,
Just
crime.
came in the mail for me today.
Zodiac. Yeah, man. Any of these crime movies, for sure. I 100% take my money. I'm really looking forward to Long Legs coming out with Nick Cage.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Michael
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
That one looks really good. Yeah. Yeah, I'd honestly probably be right up there with you, like these horror movies where it's like a police investigation. I don't know, there's just something about it I really enjoy where they're trying to catch a serial killer.
Another good
one. The serial killer just doing all this horrific stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
1 Hour Photo is another super.
I've heard good things about that, but
yeah. Oh my god, dude, you gotta watch 1 Hour Photos. So damn. What about Insomniac? Or Insomnia with Al Pacino. I think there's an original and then there's a remake. I'm talking about the remake with
the one
Robin
from Nolan. Christopher
And now,
Nolan.
yeah, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
Insomniac.
that movie's all right. I wasn't overly enamored with that one.
Okay. Dang.
Ali says
Copycat.
Copycat.
Oh man, I
I've not
love
seen
Copycat.
Copycat.
Yes.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah, watch Copycat, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, a good crime horror film is awesome. Like Seven is just one of my favorite movies of
Mine
all time.
too.
Period.
Yep.
The reason I bought Zodiac is because it's been on my Christmas list for like the past 5 years, and I haven't gotten it. And I was like sitting there one day scrolling through TikTok or something, and there was something like, "Did you know these facts about the Zodiac killer?" And I was like, "I want to watch that movie." I'm like, "Shit, no one will buy that for me. I'm gonna do it myself." And so I just ordered it off Amazon. So I'm gonna watch that this week, because I've been wanting to watch that movie, like rewatch it again for like 5 years, and I'm like, ugh. So I just
There's
like,
also there's also the show Mindhunter, the first 2 seasons of that, which is excellent. That's on
I've heard of
Netflix.
that show. I've heard of that
That's a
show.
Fincher show. David Fincher did that.
Ooh, yeah,
And then there's
Fincher.
a movie called Mindhunters, which has LL Cool J, Val Kilmer, Christian Slater. That's a slasher psychological thriller, which I love too. And it also has like the mystery, like, like who's killing everybody, kind of that whole angle, that slasher, like who done it mystery angle. So yeah, definitely check that one out as well.
Yeah. I have you seen any of the Silence of the Lambs like sequels or
Oh, I'm a big
with
fan
that
of.
franchise?
Yeah, dude, Hannibal, love Hannibal. Red Dragon, also great. Manhunter, solid. Yeah. And even the prequels really good too. Oh shoot, I'm blanking on the name of it. There's also like a prequel with like a young Hannibal that I thought was really well done too.
I haven't
So
seen. I've only seen Silence of the Lambs, and it's been a few years since I've watched it. But I mean, it's great, and I've seen it numerous times in my life. But I've never watched the rest of the franchise. I always hear like mixed things about it. Oh, Holland says it's Hannibal Rising.
Hannibal Rising, thank you. Yeah, Hannibal Rising was solid, man. That was definitely check that one out. That's like kind of the prequel story. And the show itself, Hannibal, with Mads.
Oh, I've heard about the show, and I've heard the show is actually really good too.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen plays Hannibal in that. And dude, I mean, look, Anthony Hopkins will always be my Hannibal, but Mads Mikkelsen is a damn good one too. I'll tell you that. And so is Brian Cox from Mindhunter, so can't go wrong.
Oh, it's Brian Cox. I like that guy.
Yeah, Manhunter. Yep.
I just saw
and
him.
Manhunter and Red Dragon are like the same story. So
it's like one of those Exorcist prequel type things.
Well, because Red Dragon has Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal, and Manhunter has Brian Cox as Hannibal, and Manhunter came out first, like years ago, back in the '80s, and then Red Dragon's kind of like a newer take on Manhunter. So, but yeah, it's the same story.
All right, next up we have demonic possession films. Ooh. So this is stuff like The Exorcist, and that's like the first one that comes to mind, because I'm in my head I want to say like Conjuring and Insidious, but to me those fall more under the paranormal one, which we'll talk about later. But it kind of the paranormal and demonic possession go hand in hand. But you get a ton of demonic possession movies. Like there was one a few years ago called like Pray for the Devil. You got the Pope's exorcism, I think, last year. You're going to get another exorcism movie with Russell Crowe again this year. There's just a lot of demonic possession films. And for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of demonic possessions films. For me, I'd probably go worth a shot, but bordering on not for me because there are a few I love. Like I love The Exorcist. I adore The Exorcist 3. That's actually my favorite Exorcist film is Exorcist 3.
Mine too.
Um, it's so underrated.
It is
Um,
criminally underrated. Also,
yeah.
I would put Exorcist 3 under, you could even put that under crime films.
Yes. Yes. You.
Really, it is
Yeah.
more crime film than it is even like
Exorcist film. Yeah,
Exorcist. Yeah.
I would agree with that too. It's more of crime than Exorcist.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd probably say it's worth a shot because while I don't think like some of the films I mentioned are like downright terrible, they're just like so generic and like, dude, I've seen this before. It just feels like the same shit over and over again, just like repackaged in a different way, you know?
Dude,
Um,
for
and it's like just like the same stuff. Like you have imagery of upside down crosses. You have people
yeah,
talking in a gargled voice. Someone
yeah.
contorting their body, walking up a wall backwards. Eyes rolling into the back of the head. It just feels like there's this formula, and they're just like churning out demonic possession films, and not a whole lot of them. Like they're not different or interesting to me, but when one can subvert your expectations, it's really good. Oh, like earlier this year, Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, I love
That
that.
one was awesome
I
because
love
it doesn't do what all these other ones do.
right.
So if they can do something interesting with it and do it really well and isn't just like this formula thing, then I can really enjoy them. But otherwise, I just think they're a passable experience.
And I would agree with you because I would say for every good, demonic possession movie, there's probably like 15 crappy ones at least.
Hmm.
Because there's just so many that go like straight to streaming or whatever. And um, yeah, it's just I don't know, man. They really are hit or miss, and there's a lot more misses than hits. So
Yeah,
I'm with you. I would
significantly
probably
more.
say worth a shot because when they are good, they're really good, but
Yeah,
they're
like
just
the ones like Exorcist 3, Late Night with the Devil,
yeah,
obviously the original Exorcist. Like all three of those are like amazing.
yeah.
Like I love
They
all of them. Like I've rewatched all those films numerous times.
yep.
Like but all these other ones that like just kind of crappy, I'm like, sure, I saw it, I experienced it. I'm never gonna watch this again because I'm and the exact same movie's coming out in 2 months, you know?
Yeah. There's always going to be a new Exorcist style movie coming out, and it's just it does it gets a little old. Um, but would you consider? So I really enjoyed Immaculate. I
Hmm.
would you consider that a demonic possession type? I guess that's would you consider that a
Well, there's another category on here called religious horror, which is
oh
more like
religious horrors? Oh, never
cult and
mind.
stuff. I would probably classify it more as that instead of demonic possessions, but I did enjoy Immaculate. I'll say that.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, so because I was okay, so there's I forgot that there's the religious horror category, so we'll throw that in there for sure. Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider that quite to be like a demonic possession type thing, but yeah,
Hmm.
definitely a religious.
You could also throw you could throw in the Omen movies in
Right,
here, I would say, because it's not overtly like a demonic possession, but it's
it's religious.
semi demonic possession because there's like no one actually getting possessed. It's just the Antichrist or
Ex-
whatever.
exactly. So
So
I'd put that under religious as well. Okay, yeah, good to know. Good, yeah. So I'm glad
yeah.
that they made two separate categories for those.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if there's any others that came out recently that are demonic possession that I can think of.
So many. There's so many. I'm telling you, there's a bunch that go just straight to
Well, like
straight.
the Exorcist Believer last year, that one. Um,
I actually didn't think that that was as bad as most people make it out to be. I just
I
thought
didn't
it was
think I didn't think it was good, but I thought it was way overhated. Like it's
amazing.
passable, but
Yeah,
um,
it's really well shot.
nefarious, nefarious from last year. Talk to me to a little bit.
Talk to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Talk to me. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
There's just so many of them. It's just like I kind of feel like it's oversaturated. This demonic possession stuff. Like chill out, do something original, like Late Night with the Devil. or don't do one. Just,
At least Talk to Me had an original angle to it in a way,
we're yeah.
with the hand, and it's only for like a couple minutes or whatever, that
Mhm.
you talk to the dead person, so at least that had a different angle to it.
Oh, Holland brings up a good one. Evil Dead. Yeah, I would say.
Evil Dead, sure,
Yeah, I
yeah.
would say Evil Dead. Again, that's one that, like some of these horror movies we're talking about, can
Cross.
be in multiple subgenres. Evil Dead, I would say, is like a slasher demonic possession type thing. So I mean, movies can be in multiple one of these. It's not like it can only be in one.
No,
But
but that's a good, yeah, Evil
yeah,
Dead.
Evil
Evil
Dead.
Dead,
That's a great one. That's a great one.
those movies fall into so many different categories, all those Evil
Hmm.
Dead movies,
But
especially
like we
because
were talking about horror comedy earlier too.
yep, yep.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. We did miss that. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, the next one, extreme. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Yeah, so extreme would be like category 3 films. It'd be like a Serbian film, Cannibal Holocaust, because there are a lot of real animals being killed in Cannibal Holocaust, so that would be an extreme film. Um
The
yeah, there's a
human
ton of
centipede
extreme
movies.
movies. These are not for me.
I'm just gonna be completely honest. If it was up to me, I would put this in I'd rather chew glass. I haven't seen any of these films, but unfortunately, I have read what happens in a Serbian film, and I'm like, just reading it, I got sick to my stomach. I'm like, this is some fucked up shit. Like
Yeah.
like
It
I
is.
don't want to put a damper on things, but like morally, I can't agree with anything that happens in that movie. And honestly, whoever came up with that movie is sick and twisted. Like that shit's fucked up.
Yeah, I've never seen that film. Because exactly that, because I know what's in it and I know what it's about and stuff, and I just have never.
I don't yeah, I have no interest in ever watching. Like I'm mad at myself for reading what happened in the movie because it's what happens is now in my head and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
Like I'm just like I can't. I this is like the one where I like have never watched any of these films because it's like I don't like why would I, you know?
yeah, and that's kind of why I want to say not for me, because I feel like I can't sit there and say that I'd rather chew glass, because I've never watched anything like category 3, and I've never watched a Serbian film or any of those like really extreme movies. So I feel like I can't really. I'm not here to talk shit about them, but they're just not for me. I know that they're movies that I wouldn't enjoy. So I stay away from them, But for you, if they're movies that you just rather chew glass than have to sit through any of them, then I could totally see that as well,
Yeah,
So I feel
there's
you, man.
like yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta go. I'd
No, do
rather
it.
do
Yeah,
glad.
go
It's
for
like
it.
I can't with I don't know. There's just like something about him where it's like I don't want to. I'm not that person. Like I will never watch that movie. Like I'm pretty open. Like I'll go see anything. And watch almost anything, whether I think I'll like it or not. I'll just go see it. Um, but like some of these movies that are like extreme or whatever, I'm like
I just don't
like
have.
I can't.
Yeah, just no interest in it. Oh, going back to crime movies once again, 8 millimeter is another one to check out. Why, man,
I've heard
eight
of that. Isn't that doesn't it have Nick Cage in it?
Nick Cage, dude, that's one of my favorite Nick Cage roles.
Yes, I have heard very good things about 8 millimeter.
Yes, I'm telling you, that's one to definitely check that out. That's a great crime film for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, no, but as far as extreme, I'm right there with you, dude. You could throw in either one of those, and because there are people that I know really enjoy those for, they just like the extreme stuff. It's just not for me at all. So
Yeah, I kind of wonder if like the people that make these films are just going for like
shock.
insane shock value, like seeing who can outdo each other with the grossest, nastiest thing. I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't understand how you could think up of that or like why it would be put to film, I guess. Like that's just I don't get it.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next up we have folk horror. And I think this is stuff like Midsommar, The
Yep.
Witch,
Yep.
stuff where it's like that. Those are the two that come to mind because I think those are
Another
the
one
two
that
most
comes to mind
recent,
is
like high profile.
Men,
Oh, yeah, I could see Men in there. Yeah.
or
Um, trying to think. Where it's like movies where it's like I
The
don't know. It
Ritual.
feels like yeah, like a ritual, old kind of old timey stuff with like the witch. Feels like a like a super throwback to like the 1600s or whatever.
No, but I'm
Um,
saying the movie The Ritual that's a folk horror movie
oh, the movie The Ritual. Oh,
on
I haven't,
Netflix.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
and
that.
that's a good one. I really enjoy The Ritual. I think
Uh,
Men is a pretty awesome movie as well. Very underrated in my opinion. People crap on that movie
yeah,
all the time.
I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but I thought it was way overhated too.
Yeah, I think people just don't understand it because I think a lot of people think of it as like a man hating movie, and that's really not the message. I don't think Alex Garland was going for that message at all. I don't think it's about like all men are evil or anything like that. Because when you think about the movie, it's really without spoiling it too much. It's only really one
Uh-oh.
man in her life that's doing all these things to her, you know. So it's one man, it's her personal experience with one guy. So it's not saying that all men are evil, it's one dude. And then there are some little messages in there about how like maybe a woman could feel uncomfortable in a certain situation, certain things, da, da, da. It has a little bit of that stuff in there, which is fine. But overall, it's just talking about one guy because technically all the people in that town really it's one man. You know what I mean? If
Mhm.
you understand the story, so
For me personally, I'd probably go Not For Me. Just like the ones I've seen, I haven't been too hot on. Like I like The Witch quite a bit. Um, I just rewatched Midsommar like 2 days ago because I was in an Ari Aster mood, so I watched Hereditary and then like follow this up with his other two. Um, I've never been a fan of Midsommar. It just doesn't do it for me. Like it's got some creepy imagery and stuff. I get like all the themes and stuff, but it just like doesn't operate the way that I operate.
have you ever
Um,
seen the original Wicker Man?
yes, that one's really good. I'd actually say that's my favorite one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably be my favorite folk horror movie.
Hmm. Yeah, when I think of folk horror, yeah, I do. I think of like old timey, a lot of times set out in the middle of nowhere, like the woods or isolated. And
Yeah,
then there's
yeah,
usually
like very isolated. That's a good. Yeah, that's good.
then there's usually like a cult aspect in some of these. Not in every single one, but there is like with Midsummer and obviously The Wicker Man. There's like that cult aspect too. Um, so for me, it would probably I don't know. I do enjoy folk horror. I'd probably, for me, I'd say it's worth a shot because I do like quite a few folk horror movies. But
Mhm.
they're never films that strike you as like, oh, this is gonna be the best film of the year. It's like you got to watch it, really kind of
Mhm.
turn everything else off and just focus on the movie because they're usually kind of more heady films. There's a lot going on. There's weird stuff and layered.
More A24 stuff.
Yeah, you got to kind of
Oh,
focus in
I
and
thought of I thought of two more. The Lighthouse, I think, would fall in this category.
oh, Lighthouse. That's an interesting.
Um,
I wouldn't
and
even
then
thought of.
probably Pearl, the prequel to X. I'd say probably fall into full core.
I
Have
don't
you
know
seen
if
it?
you think Pearl would.
The aesthetic of it, I would
Maybe,
say.
maybe, yeah. I mean, it's definitely got the old timey feel, but the only thing with it is it doesn't have the that like kind of mystical elements, like like a weird,
Yeah,
um, like in Midsummer, you've got that,
yeah, of course, yeah,
you've got like almost that's why I say it usually with like the cult stuff because there's usually like a deity or a creature or something that they believe in, like in the Ritual, same thing. The Wicker Man, same thing. There's like something that, oh, we got to sacrifice this person for our god or whatever. um so there's usually that aspect.
yeah. I'd probably here we'll go worth a shot for it.
Because when they're good, they're really good. I mean, there's
Because
some
you
good
mentioned the
ones.
Wicker Man, and I totally forgot about Wicker Man. I
Yeah.
have not seen the remake Wicker Man though, because I heard it's terrible, and so I kind of
No,
like
I
yeah,
stay away from that one.
stay away from it.
Yeah. uh,
Next up, we got found footage.
I
So
like found footage movies, man. I know a lot of people don't, but I dig them. I mean, I like Paranormal Activity, The Blair Witch Project, the VHS movies, As Above, So Below.
you
Uh,
could even say Late Night with the Devil is a form of found footage ish
it
in a
has
way.
that aspect to it. Um,
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield, uh, which also falls under some other ones too. Cloverfield could,
Alien. We didn't mention that in Alien.
and kaiju,
At least the first one. I
and
haven't.
kaiju movies like
Yeah,
Godzilla, all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, oh, The Sacraments is another. That's,
I
man,
haven't
that's
seen
an
that one.
excellent found footage movie.
Ooh,
That's Ty West. That's Ty West, man. You got to check that one. Have you seen that one?
no, I have not. From a few years ago, Deadstream.
I need to watch that, man. God, people keep recommending that to me. I gotta check that movie out.
It's like Evil Dead but found footage is
Ah,
what I thought of it as.
I gotta watch that one. So yeah, dude, I dig found footage movies. I really do. So for me, it would at least be You Have My Attention.
For me, I'd probably go worth a shot. Because like I was saying with VHS, there's like those movies are fine to me. I've also only seen two of them, so
Mm.
I'm not too well versed in those ones. I like the first Blair Witch movie. Um, I've seen the remake, like the 2016 thing. That one was fine. Um, Paranormal Activity, I watched all of them. They weren't necessarily my thing, but we'll get more into that when we get to paranormal stuff. Um,
Have you seen Grave
there were
Encounters?
no,
Oh,
I'm
dude,
not.
you gotta watch Grave Encounters. That's a
Um,
perfect. That's got a little bit of the comedy thing going with found footage and horror and all that. Oh man, you gotta watch Grave Encounters. That's one of my favorite found footage films. I love
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's so good.
Then then I also really enjoy Cloverfield.
Yep.
Obviously, love Late Night with the Devil, love Deadstream. So there's quite a few of them I enjoy. I'd probably say worth a shot because I am like I'm not turned off by found footage, but it's not like something I'm like actively seeking out.
What about the
Um,
Blair Witch Project?
the original one, yes, I enjoy it for what it is. I do think it's a little um I don't know. I don't think it didn't have quite the impact on me when I watched it for the first time like 2 years ago, as I think a lot of people did when it came out in what, like 99, where they're like, this is
And,
real. People actually died. We're watching a snuff film.
right.
And I watched it like knowing all that stuff where people thought it was a snuff film and all the like viral marketing of it and stuff. Like I watched it for the first time knowing all that. And so it didn't have as big of an impact. And it was a little overhyped for me. I was like, people were like, this is so scary. You watch people die.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was watching him like this dude's just standing in a corner. Like, how's it? Like, it's
Dude,
not
I
that
don't.
scary.
Yeah, I watched it later on in life too, but I really dug it. But once again, I think when it comes to found footage movies, I need to be fully immersed. So I like cut all the lights out and I really just try to get into it and feel
Oh,
real.
the the Wreck movies too. Wreck.
Oh yeah, yeah, the rec
Would be
films.
found
Yep.
footage. Yeah.
Yep.
Like there. I wouldn't say that there's. It's about half or half for me if I like them or not. There's none of the no found footage movies are in like my favorite of all time. Um, but I do like a handful of them. Some of them when you talk about like bad found footage, I mean like all these categories have like super bad movies in them. There's no like perfect category here. Um, if there's like a bad found footage movie, I just get bored with it pretty easily. Like Dash Cam from a few years ago. Did you ever see that one?
No, I stayed away from it because I heard so many mixed things
Yeah,
about
that was like like my least favorite movie of the year. I thought it was trash. So
Yeah,
like,
I
so
stand
like
by.
I think when like found footage movies are bad, they're like abysmal for me. Um, but I don't think like I don't have anything like against found footage movies, if that makes sense. It's just not like something I seek out or like get super excited about. Like, oh, it's found footage. It's not like
Yeah. No, that's fair, man. So worth a shot
gonna be
for that.
worth a shot then.
Sure.
Cool. These next two categories I'm not super well versed in, so I may not have a lot to say on them. So the next one's Giallo horror.
Oh, Joe.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, the only Giallo film, a movie that I because I didn't think I had seen any, and so I started like looking up ones to see if I'd seen one, and then Malignant came up. I love Malignant. Um,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I like know nothing about Giallo. I know films that are Giallo films like Suspiria. I think another one's like Tenebrae. I think.
Yep. Tenebrae's good. I've seen Tenebrae. I've seen Deep Red. I've seen Phenomena. Um, I've seen what other ones do I have? Yeah, because I own a few of them, and they've been good. They're just not ones that I really like seek out or anything like that. You know, the one I like to explore different genres and different types of films and stuff. So I will go out and watch some of these ones, especially if they're like, the classics, because I want to watch them and see what they're all about and everything.
Mhm.
So they're good, but they're just, I don't know, they're not really for me. I'll be honest. If I'm with giallos and stuff, the ones that I've seen, they're good, but they're not ones that I like actively search out or rewatch or anything like that. It's not. I'm not saying they're bad movies. They're just not for me necessarily.
Yeah, the one that I want to watch and I just need to like do it is Suspiria.
Yeah.
That's like the most mainstream or most popular pick, I think,
There's
for
Suspiria, and then
Giallo film.
there's the remake as well.
Yeah, there's yeah, I knew it got remade too,
Yep.
but have you seen Malignant?
Oh yeah, Malignant's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, I would say that fits in because it kind of has like the color scheme, and then you have like the mysterious killer with the gloves, like the black gloves and all that stuff. And then obviously very brutal, gory kills. So yeah, I could see why, that would fall under Giallo. I could see that for sure. But yeah, I
Mhm.
really, most of James Wan, pretty much everything with James Wan that's horror or thriller, I dig. But then when you get into like the Aquaman stuff and
Furious 7?
and Furious 7, I'm like, it
Wait,
felt like
you're saying you don't love Furious 7?
it's okay. But I feel like anyone could have directed Furious 7. Kind of
But
just,
it made $1 billion. That
I
means it's
know it's gotta be
awesome.
great. It's
It
gotta be
means it's awesome. Aquaman
great.
also made $1 billion. It
It's
means it's
amazing.
awesome.
Plus, Paul Walker passed away, so if you don't like the movie, you're a piece of shit.
Yes, exactly.
That's like, yeah,
That's why Furious 7 is actually my favorite movie.
yeah.
Yeah, Colin. Wow, Anthony doesn't like Furious 7. Why does he hate
There
Paul
you go.
Walker?
I told you I didn't even know he typed that. I was like, that's exactly it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Confirmed Anthony just hates Paul Walker.
exactly, the bastard. No, but oh man, another great one that you could kind of fit into like crime and all that is Running Scared with Paul Walker.
I haven't heard of that.
Oh, dude, if you can find that movie tonight, watch Running Scared with Paul Walker. Make sure you find the right one because I think there's another movie called
There's like
Running Scared.
is it
Make
like
sure it's the one with Paul Walker. Man, I guarantee you'll have a blast with that. It's so good.
what's it about?
And yeah, Paula Farmiga's in it, or Vera Farmiga. Vera Farmiga's in it.
Hmm.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. So much fun.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a pretty good score.
Yeah. Yeah. Vera Farmiga, Paul Walker, and like the supporting cast, you'll know most of those guys too. You'll be like, oh, yeah, I know that guy from this and that.
Mhm. All right. Next up, we have gothic horror.
Ooh,
Um, and I think the only movie I've seen that's gothic horror is Sleepy Hollow. Um,
I love Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow was really good. I enjoyed it. I
I would say
haven't
The
seen them, but I
Crow.
think the Crow movies could fit into
The
that. I haven't
Crow.
seen those, but there's like a remake coming out this year, so I might check out the original before this remake thing.
Queen of the Damned.
I haven't I've not seen that.
Yeah, The Crow, Queen of the Damned, Sleepy Hollow. Um, I feel like a lot of these gothic. I know this fits into another category as well, but I would say Interview with a Vampire would be gothic horror as well.
You
Um,
could I just looked up gothic horror movies and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
yeah, gothic horror. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of. I think vampires translate well over into the gothic
really
world as
scary movie. Definitely check out the original Crow. It's excellent. I've heard the original Crow is pretty good.
yeah. Watch the original and then you're good. Just watch the original one.
That's all that exists, right?
Yeah, just watch the original Crow. Um,
So I don't really have a whole lot of input on this, so because I've really only seen Sleepy Hollow out of all these ones.
yeah, I don't. I feel like gothic horror because I'm trying to think what else would because I just feel like that was kind of the thing of like maybe the '90s. I feel like
It
when
is
I think of
like late
gothic
'90s,
horror,
early 2000s.
I think of '90s, man. That's what I think of, and
I'm
I
gonna
love the '90s horror
I'm
movies.
gonna I'm gonna hate myself for even saying this, but you could like throw Twilight in there.
Oh man, get the hell out of here! Get out of here!
uh, yeah, I think I sent you and Ryan that when I bought the Twilight movies on Blu-ray.
Jesus, I tried to like delete that from my mind, then you reminded me.
Yeah, I may or may not have binged all of those in one day. I'm like, hey,
So,
hey.
so when it comes to gothic horror, I think it is. I mean, Sleepy Hollow, dude, and The Crow, and Interview with a Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Those are all like excellent films. So, I would say, um, I would say, I'd say the You Have My Attention or Worth a Shot or something because I think they are all really good. It's just they're just older, so I can't really think of any new gothic movies. Maybe somebody in the chat, if you could think of like a more recent one. Um,
Yeah, definitely give us some ones. I feel like this one's pretty like the most niche, especially next with Giallo that we've talked about so far. Like the most narrowed down, not
yeah.
as broad as some of these other ones. It's a little bit difficult to name them, but
So what's the next one we got here?
got Home Invasion.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, if this
Side,
one's like You Have My Attention, bordering on Take My Money. I love
dude.
a good home invasion movie.
Panic Room, The Strangers, You're Next.
Crimson Peak. I haven't seen that, but I've heard about Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one either. Good call though, man.
But yeah, like you're saying, Your Next is awesome.
Yes.
I think I'm not huge into the Strangers franchise. I just think all the movies are kind of okay. Even like this new one, I just thought was fine, even though everyone thinks it's like the worst movie of the year. I was
Yeah,
like,
I just thought it was okay. It
I was
was
like,
just
it's fine. It's like the exact same movie as the first one, just
exactly,
just
exactly. That's
better.
it. Yeah. So if you haven't, you know what's great is if you haven't seen either of the first two Strangers movies, I feel like you could just go into chapter one and be good. And then if you like it, then continue on. But you don't need to, if you've already seen the first Strangers, you really don't need to see chapter one, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but Home Invasion, man.
You could think of like, to me, you could even like classify some of these like slashers as home invasion,
Dude, oh, I got
like
another
Friday
one.
the 13th or Halloween, because it's like someone's trying to get into the house, you know?
Dude, The Collector and The
Yes.
Collection.
Okay, yes. Those are good
Let's
ones.
go. Let's go,
Yeah.
dude. Those
Those
movies
ones are very good.
yeah, Home
It's like,
Invasion, something so creepy about it, man, when you think about
because
like
because you're like, I'm safe in my house, but
but you're
you're
not, yeah.
not safe because someone's
Yep.
coming in to kill you now.
Yeah, or coming into like in the case of Panic Room, where they think the place is empty, but then they realize like, oh shit, there's a lady and her kid living here or whatever. So they're just there to steal something, but then they have to figure out a way. Now they have to contain the situation because now it's breaking and entering, and there's people in there. And yeah, have you seen Panic Room?
No, but I've heard very good things about it.
You gotta watch Panic
Isn't
Room.
it
Yeah,
Fincher?
it is Fincher again. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, you can absolutely take my money
Yeah.
for home invasion movies. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm pretty close right there. I good home invasion films, pretty intense. The most recent, like really good one that I know of is You're Next. That's honestly probably my favorite home invasion film.
Oh,
Is You're
it's so
Next.
good, dude. I love the masks that they wear too.
Hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, it's a great one.
Yeah.
What else say about Panic Room?
Oh, that's excellent.
Oh yeah, dude. Please watch Panic Room.
Yeah. Next up, we have Kaiju.
Dude,
So like,
I'll tell you right now. Yep, you can go ahead and throw Kaiju. You could either put it under not for me or I'd rather chew glass because I do not give a rat's ass about kaiju movies. I could care less. Every time I see a trailer for Godzilla, I just want to start banging my head against the wall because I'm so sick of Godzilla and Kong and stupid ass Pacific Rim movies and all these dumb. I'm just done with them, man. I just do not care about kaiju movies at all.
mhm.
Now
So
you proceed to tell me how much you love kaiju movies.
no, no. Oh, here's a Hush.
Oh, Hush
Yeah,
is so
Hush
good.
is pretty
Oh,
good.
I love Hush.
Yeah,
Oh man,
Hush is
yes,
good. So
banger.
I don't love kaiju movies as horror movies. I enjoy them as dumb, stupid blockbuster action movies. I don't really see them as horror movies. Um, like I enjoy like the Godzilla 2014 mainly because of nostalgia. I have a lot of nostalgia for that. So I watched it a shit ton as a child, you know. So I have a lot of like nostalgic love for that. And then like the past two Godzilla versus Kong movies, I don't think they're good, but I get entertainment value out of them. So I don't really see them as horror movies. I haven't seen the Pacific Rim movies. I'm not very interested in them. Are you are you killing yourself?
Yeah,
Why?
you know what it is, man. I think it's just they're so oversaturated now. I'm just sick of
Yeah,
looking at
I don't.
so.
They're just like becoming these movies where it's like just this novelty to see these two CGI creatures beat the shit out of each other for like 15 minutes. For 15 minutes, I enjoy it. However, wait. However, the one kaiju movie that I would genuinely say is an amazing horror movie is Godzilla minus one.
I haven't seen it, and I've heard you're right. My buddy Gizmo, he's been telling me I got to check that one out too because he
Yeah,
loves it.
even if you don't like kaiju movies, I've seen so many reviews for it that's like I don't like kaiju movies. I loved Godzilla minus one.
Okay,
It's
that's fair. Another one.
genuinely a fantastic movie, and it's it's not like these monsterverse movies where Godzilla's the anti-hero to save the day or whatever. It's like no, Godzilla's genuinely terrifying, actually creepy as shit. I actually getting a little tense in the theater every time he came on screen. And a very clever film.
Another one you could say. Well, no, I guess not because kaiju actually just means like giant monster, I believe, right? So, I was thinking like the Transformer films almost kind of feel like kaiju-y, even though they're not creature. Well, they're aliens technically. They are aliens, and they're this giant robotic things or whatever. But
Right. Yes.
Transformers also kind of, and I don't know. I like the first Transformers was good. I remember being in the
The
theater seeing.
first one's good. Bumblebee's good. The
Yeah,
rest of the Transformer movies are kind of dog water.
absolutely, they really are, man.
So that's like the definition of bloated runtimes is the Transformers franchise.
Didn't they have? Was it the second Transformers where they had like one with like a gold tooth or some shit?
God,
You
I
know,
don't
like
know.
a guy. You know, like
I like literally Transformers 2 through 5 like bleed together as just Michael Bay Transformers action noise to me. Like I couldn't tell you any plot point from
oh
any
yeah,
of those
because
movies.
I think it was the second one where it had like the wrecking balls. There were like two wrecking balls swinging beneath or whatever. I was like, dude, why is this
Oh,
humor in this
yeah.
Transformers movie? This is so stupid.
They have
God.
like the one where they're riding the dinosaur Transformers, and I'm just in my head like, how the hell does no one know that there's these giant ass dinosaur robots living in the jungle? Like,
Yeah.
how did you
Yeah.
not discover this shit? And it's like, oh my god, they're living like no shit, dude. You could probably hear that shit from like 50 miles away.
Nobody flew a drone anywhere near this area at any time.
Yeah. Or like when you get to the fifth one and they're like, "Oh yeah, the entire Earth is a transformer." Then it like starts cracking and stuff. And I'm like, "What the hell am I watching?"
Nobody used Google Maps and saw like a giant image, like this image of a giant machine just chilling in the forest at some point. You know,
I'm like,
get out,
"Jeez."
Jesus
I'll put
Christ.
I'll put it in not for me, mainly because of Godzilla minus one. I wouldn't classify any of these movies as horror films though. But I
Yeah, I
look,
never
I
really
get where
looked
you're
at.
coming from with not liking it, with like not liking these Godzilla movies. I get it. The stupid part of me is, yeah, not good, but yeah, I get a little bit of entertainment.
You're starting to break up a bit. You're starting to. I think your
Uh,
internet's. Yeah, I think your internet's starting to go a little bit. Maybe somebody else is on the Wi-Fi or something. So it's
I just turned my phone Wi-Fi off. What the hell?
Come on back, Jack.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but your image is like. Okay, you're starting to come back a little bit now. Okay.
Okay.
A little
Fuck.
bit, a little bit. Yeah, you're still just kind of glitching out. Maybe somebody else is using the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Fox, Fox became a transformer.
yeah. No, I turned the Wi-Fi on my phone off, so hopefully that's good.
All right, what do we got next? We got paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, no. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I dig a lot of paranormal films. Because a lot of different things fall under this category. I mean, you got the Poltergeist right there that you're looking at. Also, the Dead Zone falls under paranormal. Um, you could even like Ghostbusters, paranormal, The Conjuring, paranormal,
Insidious,
Insidious,
Paranormal Activity.
right? Paranormal Activity. I mean, there's a lot of films that follow under this. That follow under.
It's almost kind of like a demonic possession. Feels like we get a lot of paranormal films.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, and
Not
we'll
as
try to keep
egregious though.
those separately, I guess. Although going back to demonic possession, The Conjuring, that's definitely high on the list for sure. That's
Yeah,
probably that's probably one of the closest ones that have come that a movie that has come close to hitting like where The Exorcist is at, or like one of those higher caliber demonic possession movies. I would say The Conjuring, is probably the top of the list as far as newer films go. But paranormal movies, yeah, but it's another one of those genres that kind of feels like it's oversaturated again. So there's a ton of them, kind of like demonic possession. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I like a good paranormal movie, but it needs to be, I don't know. It's tough. You really
gotta
got
do
to
something
sift
different.
through. You got to sift through the shit to find them.
Yeah. There's not nearly as much of paranormal movies as there are demonic possessions, but it's mainly just the Conjuring universe kind of saturated the shit out of paranormal movies.
They did, yeah.
And the quality of all the spin-offs is uh, good at best. um,
Yeah.
um, I'm trying to think if there's any others that we missed, but I dig a good paranormal movie. They're not some of my favorites though. I'm just trying to think. Probably The Conjuring's my favorite one. I really like the original Insidious as well.
I really like the movie Ghost Ship. Actually,
Yeah, Ghost Ship's pretty good.
the remake. I know some people crap on it, but I really dig the remake to Ghost Ship. I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of. I think it's solid.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
got some
trying to think if
in it, and
there's any other.
it's got a good story. I love the opening. And everybody always says they love the opening to Ghost Ship, but then it falls off after that. I'm like, I don't think it falls off. I like all the characters, and it's got some. It's got a badass soundtrack too, man. You got Mudvayne in there. I don't know. I dig it.
Yeah. Um, you got The Sixth Sense. That could be one.
I love The Sixth Sense. Yeah, that's a movie that even if you know what's going on, it's still excellent on the rewatch. It really is, just because the acting and it's just got this sense of dread throughout. And it's just you can kind of almost feel the hairs on the back of your neck standing up all the time. So even if you know what's happening with The Sixth Sense, it's still, I'm telling you, the rewatch is just as good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. For me,
Another
I'd probably go Worth a Shot on this one.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there's a lot of these worth a shot.
Yeah.
But I
That,
do.
that's kind of the nature of a tier list is you got like middle heavy, and
Yeah,
you don't want to like overdo the top and the bottom ones because it just sounds like you're being too extreme on everything.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Because it's like we were talking about. There's so many bad paranormal movies and bad demonic possession movies and bad, that you have to sift through to find the good ones. So it's like it's worth a shot, but you got to find them first. So
Mm-hmm. Next up we have parody horror. Um, I don't know if I've actually ever seen a horror parody movie like the scary movies. I've never seen any of those. The I would semi classify Scream as parody because it's like the meta aspect of it, but
it,
not
it's
like but not like you know what I mean?
it's meta, but I wouldn't say it's a parody, because a parody is really like
Like
it's
spoof.
very comedic. I would say I think it's a lot more comedic. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Scream's meta, but parody, like if you've ever seen, I know you said you haven't seen it, but if you ever watch Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2 and all the scary movies, you'll see what I'm talking about if you watch those. Like, they're very over the top, um, with the comedy and everything. What did Holland say?
I just watched a haunted house and didn't enjoy it.
Oh, a haunted house.
I would also another franchise that could fit with paranormal is probably the Amityville.
Oh, the Amityville movies. Okay, yeah, good call. Definitely.
Oh, do you know what else could also fall under folk horror that I just thought of?
What's that?
Maybe the Children of the Corn movies.
Oh, good one. Yeah, the Children of the Corn movies.
Even though I don't even though I don't like the two I've seen, I think it could fall under folk.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, with Children of the Corn, it kind of has like this weird cult of kids, you know what I mean, and stuff. So and they're also like, I think they also have like sacrifices and stuff in those movies too, and weird kind of rituals. So yeah, definitely falls under that.
Well,
It's been a long time.
as someone who lives in Nebraska, I can confirm everything that happens in Children of the Corn is real, and we do that stuff on the
Oh, there you
daily.
go. 100% accurate.
100% real. You walk out, I walk out my front door, there's just kids standing outside with scythes talking about he who walks behind the rows. We don't say the Pledge of Allegiance in school. We talk about Malachi and stuff.
I knew it.
It's all real.
But other parody movies besides Scary Movie, I know there are some other ones. God, I'm trying to think of what they're called though. It's a Paranormal Activity.
Haunted house.
Yes, yes, that's what I thought it was, Alan. Yeah, when you said that, a haunted house. Yeah, that goes in line with what we're talking about here with parodies. Have you seen that one with Marlon Wayans?
No, I've seen like zero
Parody movies. Yeah, it's fun. It's cool. That one, the first few scary movies. Like, I like Scary Movies 1 through 3. After that, I kind of fall off of them. But the first 3 are actually funny. But for me, I would say they're not really for me. I'm not
Yeah,
really,
I'd I'd
but
probably
like,
go not for me as well, even though I haven't seen them. It just seems like the nature of them to me doesn't seem like it would appeal that much to me. I've seen a few parody films in my life, and I've never really enjoyed them all that much.
yeah,
It's like a little too goofy for me.
like I think Scary Movie 2 is the best one, and that has a lot of people quote that movie, um, but I don't know. Yeah, I just never find myself going back and rewatching them. Not since I was like younger, like in high school. Um, so yeah, probably pretty much just not for me because I rarely ever go back and watch them. So
Hmm. Next up, we have post-apocalyptic, and I think this one also goes hand in hand with a lot of stuff like the creature features or zombies and stuff. Because you got stuff like A Quiet Place, uh, Dawn of the Dead is a post-apocalyptic. You got like the Bird Box earlier this year. You had Arcadian, the sequel to Train to Busan called Peninsula. I watched that earlier this year, so it's fresh in my mind. All this stuff's like post-apocalyptic, where like it's more of like the world doesn't exist. Oh, Zombieland. There's another one. Um, I they're good. I'd probably say post-apocalyptic for me are worth a shot because the post-apocalyptic side of it isn't the draw to it for me. It's the creatures or the zombies or what caused the post-apocalyptic stuff.
the survival aspect too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like how everybody's gonna survive. Plus the how the humans usually end up being worse than the zombies or aliens or whatever they're trying to fight against. Like we saw
Hmm.
that, and like The Walking Dead is a big one where it's like it starts off as the zombies are the worst enemy, but then it becomes the people. And we started to see that in A Quiet Place 2 as well, where the people were bad in that movie. Um, so yeah, I usually dig a good post-apocalyptic movie. I'm trying to think of what are some more recent examples because I always think of The Walking Dead. That's the first one that comes to my mind every time. But I'm trying to think of some movies that have I know well, and then another show, The Last of Us, that's doing a post
Oh, yeah.
thing. Um, but films because usually they're kind of expensive to do as well. Oh, Resident Evil. The Resident Evil movies are all post-apocalyptic, and I enjoy the first four Resident Evil movies. I would say I think are all pretty okay. Actually, I'll be honest. I think the third and the fourth are probably my favorite ones. Oddly
Mhm.
enough, because I really like it when they're in Vegas, and I think that's the third one. And then the fourth one I dig where they're in like the prison and all that. So that one was kind of cool, even though it's got terrible CGI in certain parts, but still kind of dumb fun.
Yeah.
Um, and I like the cast.
You got a from last year, kind of in a way. You got Knock at the Cabin, the
Oh
M
yeah, I
Night
like that.
Shyamalan film.
That was good.
I thought that
Yeah.
was good. Yeah, I'd say that one rubs shoulders with post-apocalyptic. 'Cause it's kind of like as the apocalypse is happening.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I'd probably go worth a shot for me, just because it's not the main draw for me to the films, but
Yeah.
I enjoy them.
Yeah. I would say worth a shot or you have my attention, depending on what it looks. You know what I mean? But it's got
Hmm.
to. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because you're competing with The Walking Dead, which has been around for so long, and they've kind of oversaturated that market big time. Because The Walking Dead's been on for so many years that I don't know.
Hmm.
It's the same thing with zombies, right? People are kind of tired of zombies because The
Of The
Walking Dead's been
Walking
on
Dead.
for so long. So yeah,
All
I don't know.
right. Next up, we have psychological.
Psychological's another one. Absolutely take my money. Any kind of psychological horror, because that kind of falls under that could go back to like what we were talking about with the crime movies, right? Like Silence of the Lambs, Seven. They all have like the psychological aspect to them as well. You know, So for me, it's take my money because those usually go hand in hand.
Hmm. For me, I'd probably go You Have My Attention for these ones, just because like the ones I love, I like adore, right? Like I would say Hereditary is up there, The Shining. Those are probably my two favorites that I would classify
Shine.
as psychological.
Yeah.
Um, but there's always this thing when horror movies do psychological, and where some it's not always, but sometimes the movie there's like what's reality and what's not reality, and it just like merges the two, and so then I like by the end of the film I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is reality or not. Like I don't know what's real and what's not. Like last year there was a movie called Malum that I watched, and that movie very much did that, to where it's psychological. There's creepy shit happening here. You don't know if it's in the girl's head, and she has like trauma and stuff. And by the end of the film, I had no idea what was actually real and what wasn't. Like, if what I was watching was in reality or if it was just made up in her head. That's like my one gripe with psychological horror films, is that like I need them to be concrete and not like left open to interpretation all that much with like what's real and what's not, because that's when those movies start to lose me.
I don't know what this would fall under, but I love this movie, and it kind of falls under psychological. It falls under some other ones as well, but It Follows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
You
There,
know, because
there's
that's another one
actually
where you don't know what to believe. It's constantly playing with your mind a lot because you're like, well, who's really who's on my side? Like, is this person my friend, or are they the creature that's coming to get me? You know what I mean? Like, so it kind of messes with your mind a lot.
I would there's one subgenre on here that we can talk about like after this that I would have added. I would have called it the sinister entity subgenre, when you have stuff
Ooh,
like Smile, It Follows, you do Talk to Me, just like a movie where there's a sinister, and just the movie Sinister and Sinister 2, stuff like that, where it's not it's not like paranormal or demonic possession, but there's still something happening. Like even though they're not good, Truth or Dare,
right.
Tarot.
Movies. Yeah, yeah, because right, you're trying to figure out like which subgenre would they fall under? Because It Follows is kind of a weird one. That's a hard one to kind of narrow down, um, or it fits a few different subgenres, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we can put it under You Have My Attention. But for psychological, for me, that probably would go Take My Money. But I can see if you want to put it under You Have My
Yeah,
Attention. Sometimes
that's
they
like
can.
my one gripe with it.
I think what you're saying is they can get a little too heady sometimes, right? For their own good, where it's like
A lot of shit by A24.
right, like it's like, okay, what are you trying to tell me exactly? Like where the it kind of sometimes it goes a little too broad or too like where you just don't know what to think of it. Like what was the message? What was the purpose? What was the point? Kind of a thing where it's like it gets kind of lost at a certain point.
Right.
Um, oh, another movie we forgot to mention, which could fall under more like heady films, is like Annihilation.
I haven't seen that, but I really want to.
But that also falls under like creature feature, sci-fi horror, um, and it's got some weird stuff in it. But the ending is is kind of what you're talking about, where it's like, so what exactly are you trying to tell me? You know, because the ending to Annihilation is pretty out there.
Yeah.
But but yeah. But anyway, okay. Yep, that sounds good. You have my attention for psychological.
Hmm. Next up, we have religious horror. So I think this is this stuff like we were talking about, like Immaculate, um, the Omen, the first Omen from this year. I thought was pretty religious stuff that deals with cults. Hereditary, I'd say, is religious. Um, Hereditary is probably my favorite of them. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Um, can you think of any others? Those are like the three ones that immediately come to
Yeah, I
mind.
feel like we've named a ton of them just talking about like demonic possession and talking about cult movie. Like a lot of these bleed into religious, type things. So, like when we were talking about folk horror, there's some of those like Midsummer where they kind of have their own religion and deities that they believe in and stuff. Um, but yeah, The Omen's a classic one that, like you said, comes to my mind immediately. The original Omen, which I love. The Exorcist, once again, even though it's also demonic possession, but it's clearly religious as well. Um,
I'm just looking to see if there's any others.
yeah, I feel like we listed off a ton just between all the other categories.
Yeah, it's usually just has like a cult aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I Hereditary is probably my favorite one, honestly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's just one of my favorite horror films. I think it's like the right mix of being what's classified as elevated horror, um, and really genuinely creepy for me.
Yeah, no, that's a solid one for sure. Yeah, and The Omen for me, absolutely.
Hmm.
And I would say even like I don't know if it goes back to the cult aspect, but like The Sacraments, I'm telling you, man, you got to watch that. That's a Ty West directed that film.
Hmm.
Ooh, it is so creepy because it's another one of those cult movies, and the guy that runs it, man, dude, holy shit, I'm telling you. And that one also falls into the found footage movies as well, so it's a good one. Sacraments. But yeah, so religious horror. I would probably put that under You Have My Attention, just because if it's done well, then I feel like you always have my attention when it comes to religious movies, even though they are oversaturated. But I always want to go check them out. Like I went to go see The First Omen. I saw Immaculate. Um,
Which one of the two did you prefer, Immaculate or First Omen?
Immaculate. I didn't like the ending to The First Omen because I can't say it without spoiling the movie, but I just didn't like the way the movie ended.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll talk about it once we get off stream.
yeah,
So you can spoil it to me.
but because I feel like The First Omen, it had me all the way up until the ending, and then the ending, it felt like the studio was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. We might need to do more in this universe. Hold on,
Yeah,
because I think what the
the second Omen.
exactly like, oh, we might need a sequel to the prequel and all that kind of shit. I'm like, is that really what the director and the writers had in mind? Because it kind of felt like they were going a whole different direction, and then the studio stepped in there like, whoa, 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 pump the brakes, kid. We might need to make more of these. So, yeah, that one let me down with the ending. But Immaculate, I liked the ending, and I thought it would, it was good pretty much all the way through. So,
Those two are like right next to each other for me. I think
yeah.
overall as a movie, I was more interested in the first Omen. Um, until it kind of did lose me at the end there, the
Yeah.
first Omen. Like
Yeah.
after you get the score going in that one scene,
Mm-hmm.
after that scene's done, then it kind of lost me towards the last 5 or so minutes. Immaculate, I thought got better in the second half than the first half.
It
So
did.
they're pretty neck and neck for me.
And it's eerie how similar they are with their
Yeah, and
storyline.
they released like a week apart.
Like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's very odd.
Well, yeah. Next up, we have S.A. Revenge. Wow, what a nice category. This one's gonna be not for me, bordering on a rather two glass. These ones I don't really care that much about.
Not for me as well. That's what I was gonna say. I know a lot of people that dig this genre, but for me, I they're not rewatchable films a lot of times because of the subject matter, and it's very hard to watch that kind of stuff for me personally. And then it's like, okay, yeah, they get the revenge, but was it really worth it? I'm like, I don't know. It's just not for me. There is a movie actually called Revenge.
I think I've
That
heard of that.
Yeah, and that movie, because it didn't linger on the assault too long, and the revenge portion of it is badass. Like, she goes crazy on these guys, and it's shot very well. So Revenge is one worth checking out. I thought The Last House on the Left remake was really good, but once again, I would never rewatch it because it's just so brutal. Like, I don't want to go back and rewatch the movie, even though I thought it was shot well, acted well. But yeah, it's just not for me. It's just not my thing. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the one I probably like the most is Last House on the Left, the original one. It's probably one I like the most. But even that, I think I only have like a 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. So
yeah. And even the Hills Have Eyes movies have some of that as well, with the assault and everything. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like, in the remake, they have that, and it's like, man, it's tough. It's tough to watch or whatever. But luckily, that goes by fairly fast, and then you get like some, the guy goes nuts with the dog, and they start killing all those like inbred sons of bitches, and everything, and then it's good. So it's like the movies that don't linger on it too much, like, I can watch and rewatch, but the movies where it's like they linger on the assault for too long, or it happens multiple times, I find myself not being able to watch those very often. So yeah, just not for me. For the most part. Yeah.
All right, next one. I think it'll be the easiest take my money of the stream, slashers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
same. Slashers 100%.
Instant.
I'm gonna go see every slasher that hits the theater, no matter what it is. So it can be Halloween 35, and I'm gonna go see Halloween 35. So
yeah, like we did a stream a while ago where we were talking about our favorite horror franchises, and Friday the 13th was our mutual number one.
Yeah.
Love Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street's great. Halloween's great. Scream's great. Child's Play is decent. It's fallen off the rails a little bit recently. But there's so many slasher films, so many new ones coming out. Like, I think next week is In a Violent Nature, which I'm pretty excited about.
Dude.
I'm pretty excited for that.
That trailer looks so sick.
And I hear that there's a really good kill in it too. So I'm kind of curious to see what that is, see if I agree. But no, I love slasher movies. Maybe it's like the demonic possession movies where there's so many of them, but I'm a whore for a good slasher.
Dude, and then you also have like Black Christmas.
Yeah, that's honestly probably my favorite slasher movie.
Yeah.
Great. Very underrated.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's so many slasher movies. I love Intruder. I think that's a really good one. The grocery store. The grocery, especially that third act. It's so good. Intruder.
You could even the Terminator, the original one.
I would absolutely. You could definitely categorize the first Terminator as a slasher movie. I mean, that's what he's doing. He's just doing it with a gun. You know what I mean?
But it's called slasher, not shooter. So I don't know if we can actually classify it like that.
That's fair. That's fair. And I know some people would fight it, because it's also like it falls under the sci-fi genre too, and but yeah. But also, what we got? I'm a whore for a good slasher. Same Fox, same. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, what about Thanksgiving? That's a new.
Yes, from last year. That one was pretty good.
That was good. I really dug Thanksgiving.
There's so many slashers. We could sit here for the next 5 hours telling you all the great ones. Like, so many awesome slashers. What are some of your? Since this is probably, would you say this is probably your favorite one on the whole list? Slashers, like favorite subgenre?
It's either this or crime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
This
either
would
this or
probably be
Crime.
my favorite. What? Give us like your top 3 or so slashers.
But slashers, the thing, because it depends on what you're in the mood for, right? Because crime movies are usually more serious, and slashers are more fun. So that's where it's like kind of difficult.
Mhm.
But my top three slashers. Oh my god, man! I, that's so tough. I'd probably say, because like off the top of my head, I automatically want to say Halloween, 1978, Scream, and I want to say, God, because I don't want to leave anyone out. I don't want to forget anybody. I want to say probably Jason Lives.
Ooh.
I love Jason Lives. It's so good. I mean, all of the Friday the 13th movies are good to some degree. Good to great, or excellent. But Jason Lives, it's got so many cool kills. I love the style of it, the music. Um, there's so many great shots. It's directed by Tom McLaughlin, so I think he directed it really well. And I like it's kind of got like, it's got that like kind of meta aspect, that self-referential style, kind of like Scream has in a way. And yeah, so probably Halloween 1978, Scream, and Jason Lives. Those three are all up there. What about you?
Probably go Terminator, Black Christmas. And I want to say probably the Friday the 13th remake, 'cause that's my favorite Friday the 13th.
Oh man, I know it's good. I like the Friday the 13th
Solid.
remake too, man. People always shit all over Trent. I'm like, dude, the guy's supposed to be a douchebag. He plays a douchebag so well
Yeah.
that
And he
you
gets like the best kill in the movie with like getting like shoved onto a tractor or something like that, right?
yeah, he puts him on the back of the tractor. He like hangs him off of
Yeah, yeah, like a huge
like,
thing through his chest.
he like impales him in it, yeah. But yeah, Trent is such a good douchebag, but that's his role, man. He's supposed to be that way. So it's like kudos to that actor because he stood out so much. Good
Hmm.
job, man.
Yeah, so many great slashers.
There really are.
House of Wax and Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoy Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah, Rob Zombie. You and I both really dig. You, me, and Ryan, when we did that Halloween ranking video,
Hmm.
we all put Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2 fairly high up there. I
Yeah,
think.
higher than the general consensus, that's for sure.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think the Rob Zombie Halloween movies are super unappreciated. I'll say that because people always just. I think they don't go back and rewatch those films. They just remember the first time they saw them and they're like, ugh, what a piece of shit, man. That wasn't anything like Carpenter's movies or anything. It's like, dude, he's not trying to be like Carpenter. He's trying to do his own thing.
Mhm.
Why copy, why cut and paste the first film all over again? He wants to do his own thing. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
and copying and pasting movies for remakes clearly doesn't work at The Omen or Psycho.
At all. Yeah. So yeah, no, I dig those. And House of Wax, I think that's another great remake. And I think it's an awesome slasher. I really like. I've got the House of Wax poster up there. Have you seen that one?
I don't know.
House of Wax.
I've
Yeah,
seen
with
I've
Alicia
seen
Cuthbert,
well, now that you said it's a remake, the one in
Parasite.
2005, I know I've seen House of Wax. I don't know if I've seen the remake or the original. I have no idea which one.
Jared Padalecki from the Friday the 13th remake, and the big guy from Supernatural.
Yeah,
He's
that's
House of
probably
Wax.
the remake.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, you would like House of Wax, dude. The remake, you would dig it.
Okay. Cool. Next up, we have Splat Stick. I think these are movies where it's like so over the top gory and stuff that it's like to almost to like a funny degree.
Yeah.
So stuff like Terrifier, the Evil Dead remake. For me, this is either you have my attention or take my money. I adore gore. Oh, the big guy from Supernatural.
Yeah, the big guy from Supernatural. Yeah, yeah.
I
The younger brother that's taller than the older brother. Yeah, Jared Padalecki.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I love these. I love movies like Terrifier where it's like so ultra gory. It's like, oh my god, like uncomfortable amounts of gore. It's awesome. I love them.
Yeah, me too, man. A good splatter fest. I mean, just those movie Terrifier, Terrifier 2, absolutely take my money all day. And then
I
what else?
would even say something like Halloween Kills could fit into that with
Oh
how
yeah.
brutal that one goes.
And then yeah, Evil Dead 2013, like you mentioned. Hell yeah, dude. That's my favorite Evil Dead movie. It really is the
Ooh.
2013 one. So, um, and then yeah, what's funny, Halloween Kills. That's a film that really grew on me over the years. I've rewatched that one quite a bit now, and it grows on me a little bit more every time I watch it. The hospital scene is still like whatever. It's but I'm not a huge fan of like the characters in it. Some are okay. But
It's kind of
Michael,
it's a really good shut your brain off Halloween
it
movie.
is, and Michael Myers is dude. James Jude Courtney is Michael Myers, and the
Hands
cinema.
down, favorite Michael, James Jude Courtney.
Yeah, and the cinematography in that film, it's beautiful.
Like when Michael walks out of that burning building, you're like, that is
Yeah.
sexy.
Dude, I saw my girlfriend, Allie, that's my girlfriend in the chat. We went to
Oh,
go see Halloween 2018 at the theater, and they had James Jude Courtney and Nick Castle as guests there. And
no
James,
way.
yeah, it was awesome. That part was awesome. And James Jude Courtney came out and told a story about how like he had to close his eyes because he's really doing the stunt. And the fire, there's real fire. And he had to close his eyes and memorize the steps to the like stairs and then the steps to the doors outside because they told him if you open your eyes, you'll go blind because the heat will like basically vaporize your retinas. So he had to keep his eyes closed while under the mask and then just count the steps until he made it outside where he could safely open his eyes. And there was like a fire and rescue team standing by to put him out, to put the fire out, to put whatever they had to do.
And for him to kill.
And for him to kill, it's like you would think the hardest part would just be like throwing these guys around, doing all these stunts. It's like, dude, the guy's literally going through fire for you. So I definitely got I gained more respect for that movie just by hearing that. I was like, damn, dude, he actually was like there while the place was like on fire, and I mean, the amount of stuff that these stuntmen put them through it's crazy, and I love it, man. The stuntmen don't get enough love in the movie industry; they really don't.
Mm-hmm. Since we're talking about like Terrifier movies, have I told you the story of me introducing my family members to Terrifier?
No, I can't even imagine.
So when Terrifier 2 came out, it was going to be like just like the one day, one theater in my town, one showing. So I texted my dad when they were dropping show times for it. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go see this movie called Terrifier 2 with me? And he was like, sure, but I don't know what the original is. I'm like, that's fine. Don't watch it. Just don't even know anything about this movie. Just come see it with me. And then he must have like looked at the poster because I went to some horror convention a few years ago and met Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton.
Ooh.
And so I got my picture with Art the Clown and like in full makeup and stuff with like him holding a knife to my neck and stuff is awesome. And he's like, is it the movie with that creepy clown that you got your picture with? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay, that's all I know. And so that's literally all he knew walking in a Terrifier movie is creepy as shit clown that my son took a picture with once, like 2 years ago. And so you've seen Terrifier 2, right? Just making
Oh
sure.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we sit down and and they're like and they do like a whole intro about like thanks for coming for the fans and whatnot and they like say the budget to it. My dad's like, is this like an indie shitty horror film you took me to? And I'm like, no, just wait, just won't tell him what it is. And then that opening scene with like the doctor in the hospital getting like his brain ripped out and his eyeball ripped out. And my dad turns to me, he's like, what the fuck did you take me to? uh, and then it gets even better. So then we leave the movie and he's like, that was awesome. And I'm like, I know. And so then he watched the original. And so now he's a Terrifier fan. They did the re-release of Terrifier 2 last year. And so then him and I did the same thing to my cousin. We're like, hey, we're gonna go see this movie called Terrifier 2. Do you want to come see it with us? And he's like, sure, but I haven't seen the original. And we're like, yeah, perfect. Don't do it. And so then we went to go see it. And it was at the Alamo Draft House, and they always had like cool stuff before it, right? And it was an intro from Damien Leone saying like, thanks guys so much for supporting Terrifier 2. We wanted to re-release it. Getting all those reports about people throwing up in the theater and stuff were just so awesome to hear. And my cousin sitting next to us, he's like, throwing up? What are we about to watch? It is so awesome. It's just like a thing now that we're gonna do. We have plans to do it with 3, bringing more people, and just like slowly expanding the Terrifier like squad, I guess. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's so awesome.
Dude, no, that's awesome. Every time you guys go see a new Terrifier movie, you should just randomly bring somebody with you and don't.
Has no idea what it is.
Yeah, tell them.
Like,
Well, and for the third one, you can tell them, oh, it's a Christmas movie.
yeah, it's about Christmas. Nice
Yeah.
family, nice
Yeah.
family movie. Oh my god. Yeah, it's so much fun because you're just it's so much fun when you know what's about to happen.
Oh yeah.
And then like the person next to you is like, what is this? And you just as you like literally see someone like get disemboweled on screen and it looks real. It's so fun.
Love it.
Allie with my family gets freaked out by my Terrifier shirts. They definitely couldn't handle watching the movies. I do want to show them to my brother-in-law though because he enjoys horror.
Yeah, I think you're safe with your yeah. I think you're safe with your brother-in-law, but I don't know about your parents, Allie.
Yeah. I mean, me and my dad are so excited for Terrifier 3. For Christmas last year, I bought us matching Terrifier shirts, so we're gonna wear those to go see Terrifier 3
Yes.
and stuff. So we're pretty excited for that one. That's probably that's up there for my most anticipated for rest of the year. I'll say that.
Yeah, that and Maxine for sure.
Yeah, as far as horror goes, yeah.
Yep.
So do you want to go?
And X is another awesome slasher film as well. If we're talking about newer slashers, I definitely.
Yeah. So I'll say I do really enjoy X, but I did think it got a little bit overhyped with everyone's like, this is the greatest slasher in years.
Yeah,
I went to see it with that, and I was like, it was good. I always kind of describe it as A24 meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a way. I think it's really good. I think it's solid. Best thing ever. I was like, okay, this wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it's still really good.
But anyway. Dude, that "Don't Fear the Reaper" song, while that guy's just getting killed and the blood spatters all over the headlights on the truck and everything, or on the van. I mean, and she's just, just stabbing into him like a million times, and the blood just keeps hitting that, and the music's going, and it just shows her with like, all the blood on her, and she's got like the kind of a red filter basically because the headlights are covered in blood, so it's like emanating this red light on her. So well done. Ty West he's a great director. He knows what he's doing.
So for Splatstick, do you want to go Have My Attention or Take My Money? Which one should we go? I'm cool with either one of them.
Let's go. Take My Money.
Take My Money. All right. Yeah. Give us 15 Terrifier movies and try to outdo yourself every single time with a kill, please.
Yeah. And Holland and Allie, if you guys can think of any other good splatter type movies where it's just like a ton of gore and like I said, I mean, Evil Dead 2013, I thought that had a good story as well as a ton of gore and blood. Same thing with the Terrifier movies. So if you guys can name any more, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of some more off the top of my head, but those were good ones.
Mm-hmm. Next up, you have superpower horror films. I think this is more like Carrie, Brightburn. I would classify Doctor Sleep in here too.
All good.
Um,
All really, really, yeah. And you can put The Shining back in there again too,
yeah,
even though it doesn't feel like they're using The Shining
true.
as a power. I feel like you get more of that in Doctor Sleep, where it feels like a power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Abigail Gore. That's what
good one. Yeah.
that's what I keep hearing. So I'm excited to check that
You
one
haven't
out.
seen Abigail yet?
No, man, no.
Oh my
I will.
god.
I will watch it. I will watch
Got to do it.
it. I know you've seen it twice already. I'm slacking.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as superpower horror films go, I've the only one I haven't really been all that enamored with was Carrie. I thought Carrie was fine. Um,
Damn,
otherwise,
you don't like the original Carrie?
it's not
Yeah.
great to me. Yeah, but granted, it's been quite a few years since I've seen it, so maybe it is probably due for a rewatch. I'll give it that.
You just said that shit so nonchalantly too. Like, Carrie's is like. I'm like, damn, are you talking about like what, like the remake or what? I'm like the
Uh,
original? Holy,
yeah, but
dude,
Brightburn, I think is pretty good. Doctor Sleep, fantastic.
Doctor Sleep, absolutely. I think that fits perfectly into that category because you get to see them use different powers in that movie as well. Like that girl that can control people just by telling them what to do.
Hmm.
So, very interesting. What's the movie? It's also a found footage film where the kid gets powers from I think like some alien device or something or a ship that crash landed, and he gets him and like his buddies get powers, but then the one guy turns super evil, and then they have like this epic fight like all around all these skyscrapers and stuff at the end, and it's at night and they're bouncing off each other like superheroes and stuff.
I don't know, but I don't know what the name of it is. I haven't seen it, but I have heard of this one.
Yeah, it's a found footage movie as well. I can't think of the name of it though. I've only seen
You
it
could,
once.
if you also want to go something super mainstream, you could say Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, because that definitely has a lot of horror aspects to it because it's
Hmm.
Sam Raimi. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah. So I guess for that, maybe worth a shot. What do you think?
I'd probably go worth a shot too.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Torture.
Dude, I like the Hostel movies. I like the Saw movies. I like the Collector movies. So sign me up for all the torture films because I dig them. I don't care what people you either have my attention or take my money because I dig all those types of films
Mm.
because they all have good stories too. Like the Saw movies, I think have good stories. At least most of them do, or a lot of them do. Like at least the first three, I think, is like a solid trilogy there. But even past that, I like a good amount of the Saw films. And the Hostel movies, absolutely, dude. I mean, people like one of the biggest fears that people have is leaving the country where they live at. You hear that all the time from Americans and stuff. Like, it's always a scary thing leaving the country because you don't know what's going to happen wherever you're visiting at. Who knows, And I think Hostel plays on that innate fear of like leaving your home, basically. Your country's your home, and it's scary going anywhere else because you hear crazy stories sometimes. So I think the Hostel movies are very clever, actually, and there's not really a ton of other films I can say that even do that. So yeah, I really like those. What about you?
I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit, but not like in like the way that you would expect, I guess. So I've only seen the original Hostel, and I think it's okay. I don't think I don't love it. It was one of those movies where I'm like, yeah, I saw it. I don't think I'd ever watch this again. Saw, I like probably 7 out of the 10 Saw films. There's only a few of them I don't really care for, but a lot
Really?
of them fall into like that 3.5 star range for me, which is still pretty decent.
Yeah.
Um, what was another one you said? The
Oh, I saw a
collectors
collector.
are both really good. Yeah, those are both really good. Um,
Oh, you could even
and
put oh, I got another good one. Cube.
I haven't heard of that. What's that one?
Oh, you haven't seen that one? That one's really good, man. That was from the 90s. Yeah, I believe it was the 90s. And it's very similar to Saw, but kind of with like a sci-fi theme in a way, because it's basically all these people are trapped. It, they've all been taken away or like drugged, like they don't know how they got into this cube thing. They're trapped inside of this cube-like structure, and as they are trying to get out, there's like all these puzzles that they have to solve. And whenever they don't solve a puzzle correctly, or if they step on the wrong thing, they get killed in like a grotesque way, like a trap. Basically, there's a bunch of traps throughout all these cubes. So every time they go from one cube to another, they have to like solve a new puzzle, and then if they fail, they one of them usually will get killed. And pretty in a pretty gross manner.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Um,
Like the Saw.
I would also say Hellraiser could fall into this a little bit. I don't know how familiar you are with those ones.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. The Hellraiser films,
I
for sure. A lot of torture.
I don't like the Hellraiser franchise, but I do really enjoy the first one.
Yeah, I like the first two. I think the first two are well. I think the first one's like a masterpiece. I love the first one. Then the second one I think is pretty damn good too. It's just a little bit more out there.
Mhm.
Um,
For me, I would probably go Worth a Shot. Like I can like I think we're saying like the same things. You're just much higher on these movies than I am, but
yeah,
I don't. There's nothing like turning me away from them. Like I saw X last year. Have you seen that yet?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. That's like the most recent one in mind that I think fall into torture. For me though, if it's a torture movie, it has to. There's like a line that it could cross for me of being like too uncomfortable for me. That makes
yeah.
sense.
Check out. I do want you to watch Cube though. I think you would like.
Is there anyone in that I would recognize
I don't think so.
from the
But
90s?
yeah, I believe it's from the 90s. Yeah. Oh yeah, be careful because I think there's a remake or something that's more recent. But yeah, it should be from the 90s. Yeah, Cube.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, there's no one I recognize, but I think I found the one you're talking about.
But dude, it's good if because I know you like the Saw movies so much. I think you would really dig that one as well. And then another one that's very similar to Cube is Escape Room.
Oh, Escape. Did you ever see the sequel to that?
No, I really like the first one though.
I actually prefer the sequel to it slightly
Wow.
more because I thought the twist ending to that one worked better.
Okay. Yeah, but if you like Escape Room and Escape Room 2, whatever, you would I think you would like Cube because it's just kind of solving puzzles and things, and you're moving along, and you're just everybody in the group's just trying to survive as they move through this giant cube-like structure, and they're also trying to figure out how they got there and like what is this thing? They don't even know where they're at. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting.
Yeah. Seems
There
like
you go.
Allie enjoys Cube as well.
Yep.
All right, so where do we want to go with it? Do you want to go? You have my attention, worth a shot. Which one do you feel like?
I think you have my attention because I really do feel like those are the movies where you see a trailer and you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? You're kind because it's always like the mystery part that's the most intriguing, and they all have that. Like Saw has that, Cube has that, Escape Room has that. They all have kind of that mystery of like how did they get there, how did they remove these devices, all that stuff. So I think I find them very intriguing in general.
Mm-hmm. Cool, cool, cool. Next up, you have Vampire. For me, I'd probably say you have my attention because it's a subgenre I'm interested in exploring more. So I'm very like new to looking at vampire movies, but I've enjoyed more of the ones I've watched than I haven't. There's hasn't well until I saw Abigail, there wasn't ever a vampire movie I would say I genuinely loved. Right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen all the original Bela Lugosi Dracula movies, and honestly, probably that first Bela Lugosi Dracula film until I saw Abigail probably would have been my pick for my favorite vampire movie. Um, I've seen The Lost Boys, but I don't love that one as much as everyone does. Fright Night I think's pretty good. Then last year we had Renfield, which I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed Last Voyage of the Demeter much more than everyone else. I really enjoyed that one. And then obviously, like I've mentioned numerous times, Abigail, I think is incredible.
Yeah, and
Oh, you like Blade?
that's
Yeah,
what I was gonna just say. That's what I was gonna
yeah.
say.
I
Is Blade.
recently watched those all for the first time, probably about a month ago. I thought
Oh,
the
you
first,
watched it the first time?
yeah,
Holy shit, that's
yeah.
awesome, man. What'd you think?
I thought the first two were pretty good. I really like the first two. Third one, yeah,
Third
I don't
one's
know,
trash,
I
dude.
don't know what the
It's
fuck
trash.
happened
The
there.
third Blade trilogy is absolute garbage. I'm sorry, it's trash. But the first two Blade movies, man, especially, dude, the second one's directed by Guillermo del Toro. Come
Hmm.
on, let's go.
And
And
you
it's
got
got
like Ron Perlman in there too.
and Norman Reedus.
Hmm.
Hell yeah,
And
dude.
you got like that whole sewer scene where they're like
Oh,
mowing them down and stuff. That was pretty badass.
it is.
The only thing that like the biggest negative I had towards those two films, and it's not really the film's fault, it's just that the CGI has not aged well at all. Especially that
That's
first one.
very true.
The first one I was watching, I'm like, oh dear, is this gonna be the whole movie? Because if it is, whoa, that is this just like some cheap shit movie that
But you know what's funny, dude? But the first Blade movie, honestly, the majority of it is practical effects, except for the third act. And the reason the third act is so bad is because they ran out of time and they couldn't perfect it. That's why it looks so goofy. With the blood, the blood god, where every time he gets like a limb cut off, you get all that
Mhm.
CGI blood geysering out, and it looks terrible. But for the most part, most of the effects in the first Blade are practical, and Wesley Snipes knows how to actually kick ass and do martial arts, so he can do all of his own fight scenes, which is awesome. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of he's probably got a stunt man or whatever, but most of the fighting you can tell he's the one doing it. The second Blade, though, you're right, that definitely has more bad CGI because it's even the start of it where it's like him versus like the two ninja people that are fighting in front of all those lights and shit. That's terrible CGI. It looks they're bouncing all over the place. It looks horrible. Um, but yeah, still love Blade 2. Oh, also you have 30 Days of Night.
I haven't seen that one.
Ooh, yeah, check that
Yeah,
one out.
so like all the movies I just mentioned, like all the Bela Lugosi Dracula films, Renfield, Last Voyage of Demeter, Lost Boys, Fright Night. I watched all those for the first time last year
Oh, okay, okay.
because I saw Renfield. I really enjoyed it. I'm like, I'm in a vampire mood now. Let me check out some of these ones.
Have you seen Nosferatu?
No, but I'm going to watch that before the Robert Eggers one comes out this year. That's my
Cool.
plan is to watch that one before I see that.
And then we already named these off, but like Interview with a Vampire, that's got Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kristen Dunst, like a lot of
I've heard that one's pretty good.
um
Oh, I've also seen Bram Stoker's Dracula,
yep.
like the one with Gary Oldman as Dracula. That one's okay.
So yeah,
Um,
I think we did a good job with the vampires.
oh, and I've seen all the Twilight movies.
Oh damn, we almost got through it. Oh, so close. Almost got through it.
For the Twilight movies alone, I'd probably go Take My Money. You'd agree, right?
No. God dang it.
Are you team Edward or team Jacob? Which one are you?
I just want them all to die. I want like a hunter to appear and just shoot all the werewolves.
They're not good. I think the highest I rated any of them on Letterboxd was like 2 stars.
And I want Blade to come in there and just kill all those stupid pansy ass vampires that sparkle.
They're something, that's for sure.
But no, vampires. Yeah, man. You could say what you have my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. It's cool
It's
when a
def-
new
it's
vampire.
definitely it's like the subgenre I want to explore the most, and I'm like the most interested in, and the one I want to like fully love more. You know, because
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. The vampires just never interested me before, I guess, and then they started putting out some good ones, and then I started exploring it. The Nightfly.
Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. Good call, Allie. Holy shit. Yeah, the Night Flyer, dude. Oh man. Now this is a hard movie to watch. You'd have to try to find it like to like rent it on demand, or you'd have to buy the old DVD. But the Night Flyer is a Stephen King, it's based off of a Stephen King novel. And man, I'm telling you, that is definitely one of my favorite vampire. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. But yeah, the Night Flyer for sure. I'd put that right up there. It's like the Night Flyer, Blade, Blade 2. Like for my favorite vampire movies. I just watched The Lost Boys myself actually recently. Allie showed it to me because she really loves that movie. And I dug it. I thought The Lost Boys was really good, but I'd still put The Night Flyer and Blade, above it for me personally. But yeah, check that one out if you ever get the chance, man.
I'll check it out when you check out Abigail.
Deal. That won't be too long. I'll probably just buy the Blu-ray for Abigail and just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope they put that out soon because damn, I want to watch that shit again. It's like so good. It's actually my favorite movie I've seen this year so far. So
very good.
Next up, we have werewolf films.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and start with this one?
So, God, man, werewolf movies are so iffy. So the ones that I like are An American Werewolf in London, obviously. That's the one that comes right to mind. The Howling, for sure. I actually even think An American Werewolf in Paris is a fun, like, that actually falls under comedy horror as well. I forgot about that. But American Werewolf in Paris definitely has a lot of comedy and stuff in it. And it's got god awful CGI werewolves in it, which is a shame because originally they had practical werewolf effects and stuff. And then for some dumbass reason, like the studio execs or whatever were like, no, man, let's make it CGI. And I'm like, what? And I'm pretty sure it was.
I hate when movies do that, where they have the practical and then they're like, we'll CGI over it. I'm like,
yeah,
why?
and I'm pretty sure Rick Baker was the one that originally did the practical effects, like for that movie for An American Werewolf in Paris. I think he was the one that they had brought on to do the effects, and then they were just like, oh no, we're gonna use CGI instead. It's like, dude, you guys are morons. But that movie is still fun for what it is. Ginger Snaps is okay. I just watched that one for the first time actually not that long ago. I thought it was decent. And I'm trying to think of some other good werewolf movies. I don't know. I know there's I haven't seen it all the way through. I've only seen parts of it. The one with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro, the Wolfman one that they did. But I've only seen bits and pieces of it. Then there's like Wolf Cop, just
Did you hear they're doing? I think it's Lee Whannell is doing a Wolfman remake next year. I think.
I'm excited for that. Yeah,
that
I keep hearing because originally Ryan Gosling was supposed to be the Wolfman in that movie, but then I guess something happened. He fell out, so now they have someone else doing it. There's also Bad Moon. That's another one. Yeah, they're just okay, man. I don't know. They're really the only two that I think I like are An American Werewolf in London and The Howling, and then American Werewolf in Paris, just because I think it's kind of fun in like a silly, goofy, comedic way, but it's kind of fun. So that's really it for me. What about you? Do you have any? Oh, yeah, I think that's all of them. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not super well versed in werewolf stuff. Like I've seen American Werewolf in London. I really like that one. I've seen all the Wolfman movies, like the classic ones. The first one for Wolfman's pretty good. The rest of them I didn't really care for all that much. Um, I don't know if I don't know if you've seen it, but there was like that Marvel Studios special event thing, Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus.
No, I'll have to watch it. I heard it's
That
great
one was
though.
okay. Yeah, it was all right. It has like nothing to do with Marvel, so I'm like, no, why would you even say that? Just call it Werewolf by Night, werewolf short film. Boom. Like I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. Um, I'm just not too well versed into werewolf stuff. It's not necessarily something that fully interests me all that much. Um,
No,
uh,
not me either. I've never been.
Teen Wolf,
Oh,
Teen Wolf.
um, what's it called? I think it's just called. I think it's just called. Oh, Wolf. I think it's just called Wolf. Yeah, with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer. That one's good. It's been years since I've seen it, but from what I remember, that was a really good one. Wolf. And then Van Helsing also has a werewolf. And I think Van Helsing is a fun, with Hugh Jackman, that one from
Yes,
like,
I've heard mixed things about that, but I have not seen it.
dude, it's a CGI fest. I mean, it's all CGI and green screen and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but it's fun though. I don't know. There's something entertaining. It's like an action horror movie. I don't know. There's something entertaining about it. But it's like, oh, Silver Bullet. Yeah, geez,
I've heard that one's really good too.
yeah, Silver Bullet. I definitely put that one high up there as well.
Hmm.
Silver Bullet, An American Werewolf in London, The Howling. Yeah,
So for me, I'd probably go not for me on it.
that's fair, dude. I'm
So,
I'm with you. I mean, I never get like super excited about any werewolf movie, except for I think the Lee Winnell one has promise.
yeah,
I
I mean, I think main reason I'm excited for that is because I think Lee Winnell's a fantastic director. Has not made a bad film yet, as far as I'm concerned. So
yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of because we made fun of this so much.
oh
Was
my god.
City or yeah or no yeah Insidious, right? Insidious 3.
Yeah, Insidious 3.
Yeah,
I
the
forgot. Our breathing apparatus guy
breathing
friend.
apparatus guy. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the one movie that he made that I'm like, not the best, not the best. But I agree with you. He is very talented for sure because he's definitely done some really good stuff. I'm trying to what's the
He did Upgrade
Upgrade?
and
Right,
The
yeah,
Invisible Man.
Upgrade and The Invisible Man are both bangers for sure.
Mhm.
So
100%. Yeah. Next up, we have Witchcraft. This is another one I'm not super well versed in, I would say. Not a whole lot of movies I know that would fall into this. I mean, you got stuff like The Witch. Um,
Practical Magic, The Craft,
one that comes to mind, which is like so not a horror movie, but Hocus Pocus.
Focus Focus. Yeah, I knew exactly.
Yeah.
I knew where you were going with that as soon as you said it.
Uh,
But Hocus Pocus is a classic, man.
it's so much fun. I watched
Yeah.
that for the first time before Hocus Pocus 2, and I was like, why did I never watch this before? This is so fun.
Oh,
I'm like,
Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters with
that one's pretty fun with Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. Yeah, I like that one. That was a good
That
time.
when Family Video used to be a thing, that was like the video rental service out here. I remember my dad rented that one time, and I like walked in on the scene where like the dude explodes in the bar or whatever at like the beginning of it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, what, like 10?
It's awesome.
And I just see that dude explode, and I'm like, "What?"
But yeah, man, I don't know. Right. Once again, not movies that I get super excited for at all. I
Oh,
mean,
you could also The Conjuring 3.
oh yeah, you're right. There was a
Yeah,
witch in. Yeah.
that was like
I mean, I think The Craft is great. I definitely
I haven't
I
seen The
The
Craft, but
Craft.
I've heard that that's a great one. I've heard The
It
Craft
is.
is really good. Yeah.
It's got a Scream Factory release. It's got the 4K and it's got a Blu-ray, so that's definitely worth checking out. Oh, The Witches of Eastwick, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, once again, not really for me. For the most
Yeah.
part, I do like The Craft. That's that's the highest one when it comes to witches for me. But
Yeah. The Craft.
yeah, definitely a must see for sure.
Yeah, I'd probably go not for me, but I think that one has potential. Just to
Yeah,
if they made more witchcraft movies, I could get into it more.
same here. That's the problem. I feel like they just don't make a ton of witchcraft movies in general. So, but yeah, if I saw a trailer for one, I'd probably be intrigued by it just because
Oh,
I come too often.
maybe Wicked Part One that comes out in November will change our mind on witchcraft.
Wicked?
Yeah,
What the hell is that? Is that a Disney movie or something?
yeah, it's the musical
I knew.
adaptation movie of Wizard of Oz.
Oh god, that's what I thought. Yeah. Jesus.
I know you're very excited for that one. That's why I had to mention it.
No, no.
Uh, and then last but not least, we have zombie films.
Dude, zombie movies for me would probably be Take My Money or You Have My Attention because I do love a good zombie movie. The Return of
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got Romero's films, you got Night of the Living Dead, you have Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, like that trilogy right there. Then you have the Dawn of the Dead remake, which is fantastic. Then you have the Night of the Living Dead remake that Tom Savini himself did, which he directed that, and that was I love that remake. You have the Return of the Living Dead, which is my favorite zombie film because it's punk rock, badass soundtrack. The characters are all entertaining. And actually, that kind of blends into comedy horror as well, The Return of the Living Dead. But yeah, when it comes to zombie movies, definitely sign me up. I love, The Walking Dead, all that stuff. What about you?
Yeah, I already put it in You Have My Attention because that's where I would go for it. Just kind of
Yep.
round out our list there. Dawn of the Dead remake by Zack Snyder is probably my favorite zombie movie, but I love both the Zombieland movies.
Oh,
Um,
Zombieland's so good
yeah,
too.
both the Zombielands are great.
Yeah.
Train to Busan's another good one.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if there's any others that I know of off the top of my
If
head.
you, if you wanted to talk about just Infected, you could say
Ooh.
28 days later and 28 weeks
I haven't
later.
seen those, but they just announced 28 years later.
Years later, yep.
So I'll probably watch those when that comes out.
Oh,
Overlord.
Zombie, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Definitely, man. You got to watch that one. That's a
Yeah.
Italian zombie movie. You got Lucio Fulci's Zombie, dude. Check that out. You gotta watch that.
Have you seen Overlord?
I didn't like Overlord, man.
You didn't?
I didn't like
Oh,
Overlord. I know a lot of people
I
love it.
recently watched that and I was like, holy shit, this is so cool.
That one I know. I wanted to because the trailer blew me away, but no, I didn't really care for it to be honest with you. But I know a lot of people did.
Yeah, I really like that one. I'm trying to think if there's any others. But yeah, with zombie film.
Technically, Jason Lives
Ooh,
and
through Jason X.
yeah, those are all zombie movies. I mean, he's a zombie, so
Mm-hmm.
yep.
I mean, if you want to do infected stuff too, which zombie and infected kind of go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah.
You could even say something like The Last of Us, the TV show. It's kind of that.
Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that show basically took over for The Walking Dead. Now that The Walking Dead,
yeah.
People that want their Walking Dead fix, I think that's the show they go to now.
Yeah. But no, I really enjoy zombie films. I'm more so the intense zombie films instead of like the slow zombies that you can just outwalk essentially because they move so slow or whatever. But no, I dig a good zombie film.
Yeah, so do I for sure, man. There's a ton of them out there. There really are. I know we're forgetting probably a bunch, but those are a lot of the ones that I rewatch.
Yeah, of course. So it looks like that's our tier list
Oh,
completed
one
then.
more. This is more of an infected kind of thing, but Girl with All the Gifts is yeah, The Girl with All the Gifts. That's another kind of like infected zombie type movie. It's
You
like a
could you
UK
also
movie.
say,
It's good. It's really good.
you also say Wreck.
Wreck. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's a good one. But yeah. So there's our tier list of everything. Um, one I just thought of too for slasher that we didn't talk about with Candyman.
Oh man, I love Candyman. Yeah, good call. I'm glad you mentioned that before. Yeah, absolutely, Candyman.
That one's awesome. So yeah, here's our thing. So I'll go over it real quick. Hold on.
Oh,
Hold
and
on.
just to mention another movie that kind of falls under creature feature and slasher, The Funhouse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Toby Cooper's The Funhouse, another one.
hmm
Yeah.
So here's our tier list. Um, so at the top we got for Take My Money, our favorite subgenres: creature features, crime, home invasion, slashers, and splat stick movies. And that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Then you have my attention. You got alien, animal, comedy, psychological, religious, torture, vampire, and zombies. There, worth a shot. You got anthology, body horror, demonic possession, folk, found footage, gothic, paranormal, post-apocalyptic, and superpower. Not for us. You got backwoods, cannibal, giallo, kaiju, parody, essay, revenge, werewolf, and witchcraft. And then the worst of the worst, you have extreme. So if you had to pick one from each tier that you would say is your favorite in that tier, which one would you say?
So in Take My Money, I would have to go with slashers. And You Have My Attention, I would go with psychological. With Worth a Shot, I would go. Let's see. Dang, that's tough. I would go with found footage. Not for me. I would go. Let's see. I think I would go backwoods. And and then we only have extreme for True
Yeah.
Glass. This is what it, yeah, for Worth a Shot, it's really tough because horror anthologies and found footage are both like neck and neck for me. I think they're both a lot of fun, just in different
hmm
ways. But I think found footage kind of edges it out a little bit because I just feel like there are probably more good found footage movies. So
Well,
yeah,
you can kind of get both. Just say you want the VHS movie.
VHS movies, right?
So you want VHS, so you get both.
Yep.
Um, yeah, for Take My Money, it's tough. Honestly, I'd probably go creature feature because um, I adore so many creature features. Like if I had to do like a top 10 horror movies, I'd probably say about 6 of them would be creature features. Honestly, I love creature
Wow, creature
features.
feature over crime and slasher. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
Okay, that one took me
I
by
mean,
surprise.
I gotta have stuff like it, The Thing, Alien in there. Like I gotta have those up there more so than I have Slash.
Okay, and what about You Have My Attention?
You have my attention. I'd probably go psychological as well because you got stuff like The Shining.
Yeah, dude, psychological. I love
Good.
the
And like a
weird.
good mind fuck movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Worth a shot. As much crap as I gave it, I'd probably go demonic possession because there's like this. There's literally like this stupid optimist in me that's like, you know what? Maybe this will be The Exorcist again.
It could be good. It could be good.
Like
Please
it
let
could
it
be
be.
good. I'm like, even though I I'm like, it could be good. I say that every single time before I see him, like, you know, it could be good. I'll be optimistic. I walk on like, nah, that was shit again. I don't know.
And not for
Not for me. Mm, probably Backwoods because that's the one I'm most familiar with, and the ones
yeah,
because then I'd get Texas Chainsaw.
yeah. You get
Then I'd,
TCM.
then I'd
Rough.
rather chew glass. I wouldn't pick Extreme, even though it's the only one there. I'd pick something else.
Right,
I'd
still
pick the
wouldn't.
non-existent stuff.
Yeah, just rather not watch movies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's actually what I do. So
You know, the only thing I would have added to this is, and maybe they just fall under slasher movies. Maybe that's why. But I probably would have put like Killer Dolls as a subject.
oh yeah, she
Killer
got
Dolls,
like Chucky, Annabelle,
Puppet
Puppet
Master.
Master.
You
Yeah.
know, you've got you got demonic toys. You've got you've got so
Megan.
many. Megan, yeah, for a new one, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you got quite a
You
few.
could
Like if you
even
actually sat there and thought about how many killer doll movies there are, there's a lot.
you could also I don't know. Another one that kind of seems like a subgenre is like I don't know if killer animatronic ones because you have obviously Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yep.
the Banana Splits movie, Willy's Wonderland. I don't know what you could classify that as. Like
Yeah.
maybe like killer robots or something. Because then you could put the Terminator in there too.
Sure.
Maybe.
Another one, Dolly Dearest for Killer Dolls.
I
Dolly
haven't heard
Dearest.
of that one.
Yeah. It's one from the 80s, yep. But yeah,
Um,
there's a ton of those.
there was another. Well, since we got our list, where would we put some of these? So where would you put where would you put Killer Dolls?
Killer Dolls would absolutely be Take My Money. I'm always going to go watch a Killer Doll movie every single time. So it'd be Take My
Yeah.
Money.
I'd probably go You Have My Attention on that one.
Yeah. Because even if it looks just whatever, I'm still going to go see it. Because I mean, I love those kind of movies. You know, I guess I don't know if this counts. I didn't see this movie because it didn't look like a Killer Doll movie to me, even though they kept showing that stupid teddy bear, but imaginary.
Oh fuck, that movie sucked. Don't see it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it
not
has
a Killer Doll movie, though, right?
No, it has nothing to do with that teddy bear. I swear to God.
Yeah, I didn't think so. You lied to me. Stop showing that teddy bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
Caveman Movies and More. Hey there, everyone. Please hit the like button. Oh,
What's
yes.
up, Caveman? How's it going, guy?
Please like and sub to Anthony so you can get to 500.
Yeah. He's one of my buddies. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Another one that I would say is holiday horror movies.
Oh, holiday horror movies.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's a good.
Too.
Yeah, because you got a ton of stuff in there. Like you could put. I don't like them, but you could put Leprechaun in there.
My God, My Bloody Valentine for slashers. How did I forget My Bloody Valentine?
Yeah.
Another great slasher.
You could do some of the Silent Night, Deadly Nights.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yes. Oh, Krampus.
I love Krampus.
Trick or Treats.
You get Black Christmas again.
Hellfest.
Fun
slasher.
You could do Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2.
Yeah, you could, man. Hell yeah, Killer Snowman. Do you like Hellfest? Have you seen that one?
No, I have not, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's cool, man, because it literally
doesn't have Tony Todd.
Yeah, Tony Todd. He's like a voice throughout the theme park, and he is in it. He does have a cameo, but it's cool because it takes place on Halloween night, and it's in a theme park with all this crazy Halloween shit. Everybody's dressed up, and there's all these different rides you can go on and different like haunted houses you can go through and all this stuff. It's sweet, man. It's got the Halloween atmosphere for real. Oh, and obviously you have Terrifier 2, which is Halloween night. Oh, both Terrifiers are Halloween night,
Mhm.
right? They're both Halloween night.
Mhm.
And you have you ever seen Haunt?
No, I've heard very good
Dude,
things.
Haunt, I'm telling you, and that's a perfect Halloween watch. You got to watch Haunt. That's a great slasher movie, and it's
Mhm.
perfect to watch on Halloween.
Since I mentioned Tony Todd, I remembered. So before we went live, I was telling Anthony how I've been addicted to playing like the Resident Evil games and stuff. But I've also been playing through the Spider-Man games on PlayStation, and I'm playing Spider-Man 2 right now. And Tony Todd, I hears the voice of Venom in that game, and I'm almost to the point where I think Venom shows up, and I'm like, "Oh, that is so good."
That is
I haven't heard the voice yet at all because I want to like experience that when I play the game. But I'm like so hyped for that.
that's spot on casting for Venom
Hmm.
too. I like that.
Hmm.
Oh, also, we didn't mention the Final Destination movies.
Yeah, where would those? What would you put those into?
Do you think you could put those under like splatter? Right, because
Maybe.
it's just people getting, or I mean, splat stick category, like our top category, because it's just people getting killed in brutal, gory ways, right?
Yeah, I that one's interesting because I would also kind of go slasher on it, but there's like not a real
It's a death. Death is
killer.
a slasher, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it fits into our top tier ones for
Like
sure.
like I was talking about, if we did like that sinister entity thing, I
That
think
would be under there for sure.
I think
Yeah.
it's another. There's like so many of those. I can't think of all of them, but I think that would be a good one, like a sinister entity type thing. Um, you could do one that I would definitely put and take my money is killer clowns, like anything where it's a clown killing someone. I
Yes.
love I love it, Terrifier, Killer Clowns. Those are all amongst my favorites.
There's
If it
so many killer
if there
clowns
if it's
movie.
got a clown on the cover, I'm pretty pretty likely to watch it.
Yep.
Oh, Allie brings up a good thing. What about superpower for Final Destination because of the premonitions?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
I can
think
see it.
about that. Right, he does have a superpower. That is a superpower. The premonitions. Good call.
Yeah, I can
Damn,
see that.
that just bumped it all the way down to worth a shot. But worth a shot's still good. It's still in the middle.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, she's right. That would probably belong to superpower. But man, that's a good one.
Hmm.
That's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
I love Final Destination 1, 2, 3, and then 5. I think is 5 is still pretty good. Some really bad CGI in 5, especially with the bridge scene and everything, but it's still good. 4 is terrible. That 4 is by far like
if
the
you
worst one.
if you go back far enough on my channel when I used to do Blu-ray hauls as live streams, there
Yeah.
there was one. I was in my college dorm and I was doing it, and I'm like, yeah, I got Final Destination on Blu-ray, and I'm holding it like this to the camera, and I can see on the back because it's just called Final Destination or
Oh
like
no.
the Final. So it was the fourth one. But I thought it was the first one. I'm holding it to the camera like this, and I see the back, and I'm like, shit, this is the fourth shitty one, and I turn around, and chuck it at the wall or something.
This is the garbage one with the stupid race car sequence and the
Yeah.
dumbass characters and the terrible lighting and bad
Yeah,
CGI.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" That's the only it was like the only one I had, and it's like, "Fuck." And so then I bought the others. That wasn't the only one I had. I was like, "I just wanted the first one." Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man. Damn.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other like different subgenres.
I'm sure there are. There's got to be some more, but the one that came to my mind immediately was the Killer Doll one, just because I watch a lot of those
Mhm.
movies. So,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I love the puppet. Well, I love the first like 3 or 4 Puppet Master movies, and then obviously Demonic Toys and the Child's Play franchise, and Dolly Dearest, and you could even throw in some of the animatronic stuff as well. It's fun. Five Nights at Freddy's and all that kind of. Five Nights at Freddy's, I didn't. I think if they had cut Five Nights at Freddy's down to like an hour and a half, and they made it rated R, I think you would have had a really solid movie on your hands. But the fact that it was PG-13, so they had to cut away from a lot of the gore and stuff, and then it was just too long, man. They could have trimmed like 20 minutes every time he like.
How long did it end up being? I don't
It was like
remember.
an hour and 52 minutes or something like that. An hour and 50
Mm.
something minutes. I was like, Jesus. Because every time he like falls asleep at his desk and he has one of those like dream sequences, those flashbacks or whatever, I'm like, dude, they did it like 3 times. Enough. Okay, I get it. Stop.
Yeah.
Jeez. But
Yeah,
another one is,
I get all the criticisms for that movie. Like, I don't fault anyone for not liking it all that much or whatever, but like I'm sure you know and stuff that I love the Five Nights at Freddy's games and stuff, so I was like so excited for it. And that movie is so like geared towards making the fans happy than the general audience. And so like as like a fan of the games, I'm like, dude, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. But then like the normal person in me is just like, yeah, it's not an amazing film though. And
no,
so I kind
I
of like
get it.
average my scores and I put it like a 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, which is still like a star and a half above the average on Letterboxd. And
Yeah.
I think I've watched that film like 4 times. I'm
Wow,
like
holy
it's
shit. No,
just
dude, I gave it.
it's just like such it's just like such a comfort. It's just like a movie I enjoy. Like I'll never try and convince someone that it's a great movie, but like for me it was what I needed it to be, you know?
I gave it a 3 and a heart on Letterboxd. 3 stars and a heart on Letterboxd. I enjoyed it well enough. I own it. I mean, it was all right. I just would have. I think they could do better on like the sequel if they tried. I think they could. I think the sequel could be even better.
Yeah.
But also, hell yeah, there you go, dude. That slipcover's. Oh, is that Steelbook?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sick, man. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize.
I bought it through Zavi.
Ooh,
So it took like 3 months to get to me, but
very nice, man. That's a great Steelbook.
I was like, I don't know. It's just like a special movie to me, you know?
Yeah. That, and then do you like Willy's Wonderland?
Yes, I do.
I like that one too. I thought that was really good.
Have you seen the Banana Splits movie?
That one I still need to watch. No, I haven't seen
That
it.
that one would also fall under the Splatterfest thing. That movie is gory as hell.
Is it good?
It's okay.
Okay. It's just
There's
like
there's a shit ton of gore though.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. All right. Is there any other things we got? I'm not sure which category we were talking about. Cameron movies more Tucker versus Dale. Well, Tucker versus Dale is great.
Yeah, Tucker versus Dale's awesome. Yeah, that's a good comedy movie. That's like a comedy horror film.
I think I have that. I think I own that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a Steelbook actually. That's pretty cool too.
Like recently?
No, it's been out for a while. The Steelbook's been out for a while.
That movie is like 2010s, right? Early 2010s, I think.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yep.
Yeah. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Pretty.
You could also consider that in a way like a backwoods horror film too, except for its comedic. It's just it doesn't have all the other weirds, but it's definitely playing into the backwoods, like kind of like a parody of that. So it's like it's a comedy horror, it's a parody, it's backwoods horror, kind of falls into a few different genres, subgenres.
Yeah, of course. So, all right. Well, I think that does it then for like the ranking and stuff. So here's our full tier list. Look at it. Tell us how awesome it is because it's the right one. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead if you're watching this on playback or whatever on YouTube after we're done being live. Go ahead and share some of your tier list, how you would rank some of this, how it would differ from us. Ever share some of your favorites of each subgenre. I think we went pretty in depth for all of these to the best of our ability. That is. But yeah. Again, thank you, Anthony, for coming and joining. It's always a pleasure to do something really fun like this.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's more fun to do these kind of things like together to make tier lists and all that kind of stuff because you can talk about all the different movies in those subgenres, and kind of, yeah, brainstorm and think about all of them. And because it's like we were both coming up with movies like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one, and it
Hmm.
just, it makes it a lot easier when you have someone to kind of bounce ideas off of and get, yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Hmm. Do you got anything coming up on your channel that everyone should keep an eye out for?
No, not yet. No, nothing that I've got planned. I'll probably do like another. I just made a video that was top five horror recommendations, like top five horror movies that I want. Or no, it was just, sorry, five horror movies that I want you to watch. That's what I titled it. Five horror movies that I want you to watch. Basically, just five horror films that I'm recommending to check out that are, maybe not necessarily on everybody's radar, that I really enjoy, and that are just a little bit different than some of the mainstream stuff. So just try to give people ideas, because sometimes you know how it is when you're sitting there going through Netflix, Prime, Max, all these different streaming sites, and you're just trying to figure out,
All the different pluses.
yeah, all the different pluses. So I think it's fun to give people recommendations, so that way it makes it a little bit easier to, like, oh, maybe I'll go check out that because it was recommended to me. So that makes it easier. It's like, I'll go watch, like, Sick was one of the ones I recommended, and
Ooh,
yeah,
Sick is pretty good. I really enjoyed Sick.
so did I. Actually, I enjoyed it even more on the rewatch. I thought it was even better.
Yeah, I only watched it the once, but I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it'd be one I do really enjoy
Yeah.
on a rewatch.
Another one was Jacob's Ladder.
I have not seen that, but I've heard good things for that.
Yeah, definitely one worth checking out. But yeah, yeah, just enjoy recommending movies to people and stuff. So I'll probably do another one of those, and maybe show off some more collectibles and stuff too. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know you like collecting the NECA figurines.
Toonie Terrors,
Mhm.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. Actually,
Awesome.
I got a big boy right here. I just got this in from. I got this at Best Buy.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Yeah, and this is like the big, the big boy version right here.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
man, I haven't been to Best Buy in so long.
Well, since they got rid of movies, all they have left for me to buy are like figures like this.
Figures and cool stuff. Yeah.
Yep, that's about
I
it.
mean, with Best Buy with stop selling like steelbooks and stuff and going light on and not doing physical media anymore, Walmart's picked it up. Oh, nice. Jason.
The big boy Jason too. Yeah.
Part 4.
Yep. The final chapter.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, man, that mask is legit too. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
They did a great
Yeah,
job
that's
with it.
awesome.
Yep.
But anyways, I was saying, like, since Best Buy doesn't do physical media anymore, but Walmart does. I work at Walmart, and so like it's just like, oh, cool. I don't have to go anywhere to find this stuff. It's just right here.
It's true, dude. It's funny how that worked out for you, because now you're working at the place to be. Like before it was Best Buy, but now it's Walmart. So it kind of worked
Yeah.
out really
And
nice.
plus I get a discount on stuff. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
cool, it's cheaper for me anyways.
Yeah, and you got first dibs on everything, because you'll be there more than likely when they put
Right.
it out, or if you put it out, or
Yeah,
whatever.
I know exactly the time our electronics guys go and put it out. So I'm like, break time.
Yep. I was
Every
like, I'll
Tuesday.
take these and one of these.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I can look in and see like when stuff specifically coming in. I have like all the back room access and stuff. It's so cool.
Hell yeah.
But, all right. So I think I'll do that for the stream. So all right. Well, thanks for everyone for watching and contributing to the chat. Really awesome. And see
Yep.
you on probably the next live.
Yeah. Peace out, guys. Thanks.